In practice and qualifying, they've turned the fastest laps ever. For the first time at Charlotte, they're running on radial tires. The questions are, will the machines hold up? Will the drivers hold up? Will the walls hold up? The All-Pro Auto Parts 300 is brought to you by Oldsmobile, inviting you to stop by your Oldsmobile dealer for a test drive and see what's new from the new generation of Olds. By Nestle Crunch, get the taste of victory. Nestle Crunch ice cream bars, chocolate scrunches when it crunches. And by Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
3, 2, 1. Driver, start your engines.
Command is given, and it's showdown time at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Grand National ranks of NASCAR. $300,000 in the till, 42 cars on pit road, and we're ready to go racing. Hello, everybody. I'm Ken Squire, and we've got a dandy for you today. We've got all kinds of new records in qualifying, all kinds of new records to be set before this one's over. Working with me today is Debbie Bound. Of course, her husband's a driver out there. Her dad, a great driver from the West, Herschel McGriff. What do you see for this event?
Well, Ken, 10 of the 42 starters have broke the track record. I think we're going to see a really great race.
How about it, Neil Bonnet?
Ken, I tell you, those big speed numbers we're seeing are coming directly from that radial tire. They're very, very fast, but they're not as stable as a bias tire. We're going to have to see if these drivers can cope with that all day long.
Your host for today's broadcast is standing by at the Stanley Pit Communications Center. Here's Mike Joy.
Thank you, Ken, and hello, everybody. Charlotte Motor Speedway is one of the fastest and certainly the most demanding tracks that these drivers will face. It's a quad oval, so this front straightaway, 2,000 feet long, is curved. You carry a lot of speed into turn number 1 and then sharpen up for turn 2. That's a trouble spot. Also, coming out of turn number 3, you're carrying a lot of speed out of turn number 4, and that's where they try to knock the wall down. Let's go topside for the starting grid. Ken Squire.
Let's take a look at how they're going to line up today. It'll be Ward Burton on the pole. A big surprise out here today at 172 miles an hour. And alongside is Morgan Shepherd, the great veteran, driving for his wife, Sonia. Row number 2 today. Jack Sprague, the guy that sat on the pole at Daytona, is there. And Todd Bodine qualified there, but he wrecked his car yesterday. In row 3, Dennis Setzer. Here's one of the great Carolina racing names. And Kenny Wallace, currently second in the standings. In row 4 today, Ernie Urban and Tracy Leslie. Watch this Mount Clemens, Michigan kid, number 72. Row 5 for today's program, Darrell Waltrip. He's won here on 4 different occasions in Grand National Racing. And Dale Jarrett, you know how strong he's running this year. He's just been fantastic. Rest of the field in row 6, Robert Presley. He's had 2 second-place finishes back-to-back. And there's Mike Wallace. That's the third of the Wallace gang. Then in row 7, Dale Earnhardt and David Green. Moving further back, row 8, Tommy Houston, Michael Waltrip there. Row 9, Bill Elliott. You're going to see a lot more of him in Grand National next year. And old Golden Shoes himself, Mike McLaughlin. In row 10, it's Ed Barrier and Phil Parsons with the qualifying run. Row 11 is Ken Schrader and Cecil Eunice. Going to row number 12, Jeff Gordon there in a Ford, and Bobby Labonte. Watch that point battle with him today as he goes against Wallace. Row 13, Jimmy Hensley and Alabama's pride, Steve Grissom. For row 14, it's Jeff Purvis and Jim Bound. That's the brother of Chuck Bound. Row 15 is Hut Strickland. Brand new team car for him today. We'll be telling you more about that. Then comes Richard Lassiter. In row 16 is Joe Nemechek, currently 5th in points, and the defending champion Chuck Bound. Row 17 is Harry Gant and Terry Labonte. Going to row 18, there you have Tom Peck and Jimmy Spencer. Row 19 is Tommy Ellis and Jeff Burton. Going to row 20, Davey Allison way back with Dave Resendez. Row 21, Shauna Robinson qualified for this show. And to qualify was something Bobby Dotter from Chicago was in the event. As we get down toward time to roll it out. Of course, Harry Gant's got to come out of that 33rd position today. And you're taking a look at the Big A starting grid as we get ready to go. You're riding with Hut Strickland, brand new sponsorship for Hut as he comes to this event, and it looks good for him for next year with these folks. And now you're up there riding in that Penrose car that's settling down to give you some great racing pictures throughout the event. That ought to be fun with Bobby Labonte today. Field is coming down pit road 50 miles an hour today, and coming across the line about ready to pull in. Let's go to Dick Burkert.
Well, behind me is the most tired pit crew here for sure. This is Todd Bodine's bunch, and they worked all night last night trying to pry their race car back together again. Todd cut a tire down in the last practice session yesterday afternoon, hit the wall, damaged the frame so hard it took all a 75-ton press could give out to try to straighten that thing. They haven't slept. Bodine is very stiff and sore. We'll see what happens when the green flag drops and how that car runs.
50 miles an hour down pit road is the story, and just now pulling back around Victory Circle you see car number 11. It's the end of the road for one of the greatest champions in short track racing history of American stock cars. That's the Iron Man, Jack Ingram, rolling back for the final time. You know, that's a bittersweet moment. He's going to still have a team, but not to know that Jack Ingram's going to come out, run those bull rings, and win all those championships. I hate to see that day come like they did today.
Yeah, he said it's the last lap he'll ever make around the racetrack.
I think he's planning to join Mike Joy some this afternoon, getting set for a start, taking a look through the field. Here you see the number 36. That's Wallace, and he's going to give us a great run. And up on the point, Ward Burton. What an outstanding job he did in the A.G. Dillard car, that all-Virginia team. One more run down pit road. 4 Fords, 10 Buicks, 13 Oldsmobiles, 6 Pontiacs, and 9 Chevrolets make the field.
Yeah, you know, the Fords are really picking up. You know, in Busch racing, we haven't seen them perform like they normally have, but the V6 program has really picked up. The Fords are getting very competitive with the Buicks and Chevrolets.
Also on pit road today is Randy Pemberton.
How you doing, Ken? Folks, I'm standing here in Kenny Wallace's pit. We talked about Jack Ingram, the 5-time Busch Grand National champion. This is the pit of a man that is trying to win his first Busch Grand National championship. Of course, the brother of the great Rusty Wallace, the Winston Cup champion of 1989. And in his pit today, of course, Jerry Sweitz, the gas man for Rusty Wallace, as well as Gary Brooks, the jack man on Rusty Wallace's Winston Cup team. They're here to help him assure of good, clean, fast pit stops, and that will help him in order to win this race and possibly gain some points on Bobby Labonte for the Busch Grand National Championship.
10 drivers breaking the old record of Harry Gant in qualifying out here. Those radial tires really did the trick. Goodyear came up with a good number for this one.
Ken, I tell you what's unique about it, too. The speed increase is not down the straightaway. It's entirely in the corner. The tires are so good through the corner. The big increase in speed is there. That's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde situation. It's nice to go that fast, but if you have a problem, you're in a big problem in the middle of these corners.
And getting ready for a green this time by. They'll roll us out for 300 miles, 200 laps. Remember, this is the track with that mid-race break. We get a 15-minute halftime here. Coming by, coming down to the line, getting set to turn them loose. And as they come to the line, Ward Burton out of South Boston, Virginia, is away. Turn 2. Burton going for that lead. Morgan Shepherd right there holding on to second spot. And Jack Sprague maintaining third. Coming around to complete lap number 1. And as they come to the line, it's Kenny Wallace in that 4th position. And maintaining 5th is Tracy Leslie. Up on the 24-degree banking, pulling away by about 4 car lengths is Ward Burton. Remember, there's just 7 points between Bobby and Wallace in that battle with 3 races after today to decide the Grand National Championship. Ooh, hard move to the outside by Mount Clemens Ryan. 1 car's in the wall, Morgan Shepherd, and 4 cars are spinning behind him. 5 collect the field. It looks like Daytona back in February. Harry Gant is threading his way through from his 33rd starting position. He's won the last 2 Grand National Racing. And it looks like Earnhardt may have collected part of that.
Sometimes, Ken, the aerodynamics are so important here. You get a car on the outside and it takes the air off the inside car and they get loose.
It looked like going down in the corner, Ken, it looked like Morgan Shepherd's car dumped oil as he went off in the 3rd turn. And when he got in there, it looked like a lot of cars got in the oil also and turned around.
And it looks like Hut Strickland's car is one of the machines still down there. We'll be back to take a look at the results of this calamity in lap number 2 in just a moment here in the All-Pro Auto Parts 300.
Wild ride up there. Dale Earnhardt came in. The crew changed all 4 tires, which you're allowed to do under caution if you spin. If you only come in under caution without a spin, you're only allowed to change 2 here in Busch Grand National Racing. But the crew didn't seem too concerned. Of course, he's going to have to go to the back of the pack, and that's more trouble for Dale Earnhardt. You don't want to get into another wreck there. Now let's go down to Dick Berggren down pit road.
Well, Morgan Shepherd was a great start for about a half a lap and then into the wall from the front row. What happened?
Well, we really don't know. We had to change engines this morning, but I do see oil all over my floorboard. Just as I entered turn 3, I reckon I blew oil out because I seen a stream of oil when I come back around the racetrack there, and unfortunately it took some other cars out too. I don't know where the oil's coming from, but it's all over in the car, and it just got on my wheels and wiped us out.
And he's out. He's done for the day.
His best finish was 6th back here in 1980, and it ends very early with what appears to be a broken oil line. Let's take a look at what happened up here in that 2nd lap.
Well, here we are. Morgan's already up in the wall, and you see the cars come behind. There's Earnhardt in the black number 3. He got in the oil spinning, and just out of frame, the other cars are starting to turn around. That clogged the track up, so the guys got in the oil and just started stacking up on further back in the corner.
Hut Strickland with our Stanley in-car camera went just the 2 laps, and he's out, and sadly so is Grissom in the 31. There you see that windshield destroyed, and the car is bent both fore and aft on car number 92 for Hut Strickland with his brand new sponsorship. It was a very short day.
Again, we lost some cars in it, but it could have been a lot worse. You said it looked like Daytona. It sure did.
Working on turns 3 and 4. 3 automobiles. We'll be back with more of the story in just a moment. Let's take a look at what happened to a member of the Alabama gang by another member of the Alabama gang. In Strickland's car, here's Neil.
Ken, here we are going in 3. See him hold his hand up. He sees the trouble in front of him. He's trying to get slowed down, but you start stacking up. He bumped into the car. He goes down off in the apron. There's the 1 car spinning in front of him, and all of a sudden, a yellow car, we couldn't see which one, came by and took the whole front off the car.
From another angle, oil has been laid down by that black and red car of Morgan Shepherd, and it turns 3 and 4 into a calamity corner, big time out there.
There's the 85 car came by and took the front off the 92, which we saw the in-car shot. But with those cars stacked up like that, it could have been a lot worse. It's bad enough that we missed a big wreck right there.
The 85 car that was involved as we get back down to green was not Nemechek's car. It was not. It was the 05 car. That was Lassiter, Richard Lassiter's car that was involved. Back under green. As we roll away with 7 laps complete, Ward Burton is in front, Jack Sprague in second, Kenny Wallace in third, and Tracy Leslie in fourth.
That car's smoking real bad right there, running in second place, pulling to the inside.
Jack Sprague, he's had some terrific runs here, has a real fast speed, and been doing a great job when it comes to these races.
There he is, and he is having problems after he's had some great qualifying runs earlier this year, set on the pole for the first race of the season at Daytona. I don't know if he can get it all the way around or not, looking further back in the field as they tear down into that 24-degree bankage. There you see Dale Jarrett chasing after Wallace, and we've got a calamity in turn 1. A complete spin, and somebody took the tail and the nose on that car.
It almost makes you wonder, Ken, we saw the car smoking going down in the first turn, if that car was putting oil out. We've had a problem in 3 and 4 with oil, and possibly down to 1.
It's the 19 car that has been hit and really savaged, and that brings out the second caution of the day. It comes early in the race. Second caution of the day for Cecil Eunice. Cecil Eunice in the number 19. This is at lap 9. Didn't look like an oil down situation there.
Now it's hard to tell, Ken. I didn't see the start of it, but we did have this particular car here putting down a little bit of oil earlier, or smoking. It looks like smoke, oil running down the side of that fender well. So he possibly could have put some down going in the first turn.
The Staff America Oldsmobile of Jack Sprague coming in. They begin to check that machine over after he made a real stout effort to get up through this field. The Spring Lake, Michigan 26-year-old campaigner now sits on pit road. Second caution today is out. Here's Dick Burton.
This is the same car that won this race last year, but there's smoke coming out from under the hood. They're also changing the right side tires on it. They've definitely got some problems in the number 48 of Jack Sprague's car. He had started right up front, but it's a long pit stop.
Guy that won the race last year in that car, Sterling Marlin, not competing in the 300 this year, driving for Junior Johnson when usually does not run on Saturday, right, Neil?
Yep. Ken, one thing that might possibly be entered into this, we've been here for almost a week, but there's been 3 different events running. We've had the Sportsman cars, the Busch Grand National, Winston Cup. These guys have been here for a week, but have very limited amount of practice on the racetrack. It could be some of this motor changing and things loose on these cars that normally we're found with a lot of practice.
And 2 other factors. We would run a race this morning, 100-miler for the Sportsman cars. They had 40 machines out here. They may have greased it up a bit. And Debbie, you were making a point before we get underway. This is the temperamental track. A little light, a little shadow out here makes a big difference.
This track, talking to the drivers, they say it changes more than any track they race. One cloud comes over and it might tighten up or loosen. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton in the pits.
I'm in Bill Elliott's pit, and he was in that one altercation. They're taking a string to the wheels, and what they're trying to do is set the toe in on the automobile. You can see the damage on the left front. They've already bent to the right side. They're in there with some wrenches trying to set the toe in. That is to straighten the wheels out so Bill Elliott can get through the corners for nearly 300 more miles here this afternoon.
All right, we'll show you what happened down here in turn number 1 in just a moment. We'll take a pause for this break and then be back with more of the action this afternoon in the All-Pro Auto Parts 300 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. News of the All-Pro Auto Parts 300 brought to you courtesy of Pennzoil Motor Oil. As we're back under green, we'll show you that incident down in turn number 1, and it's just about what Neil figured it was. Just a moment. Let's get these cars back and running under green, see if we can get 2 or 3 laps in, and take a gander at what happened down in the first turn. 12 laps have been completed as we go back under green. Here you see Ward Burton again posting that first place for another lap with Kenny Wallace. Right now in second spot, and Dale Jarrett finds himself in third. There you see Waltrip in fourth.
I almost think, Ken, that some of the Winston Cup drivers felt a little pressure because they usually qualify a little bit better. You can see we've got a pack of them coming up from the back. Some of them ran that qualifying race yesterday and didn't make it in the top 30.
Harry Gant had to run the consolation race after being Mr. September. He's relegated to 33rd in the starting order for today's race. 13 laps are complete. Sprague has gone back out and has come back to the pit area another time. Front 4 coming by. Just behind them in 5th, you see the yellow car of Ernie Irvin. And here's number 7, Gant, who's on a rampage, trying to move through the field, closing in now. He is running in 23rd position. It's like Peck just in front of him, Tom Peck in the 96 car. Harry Gant has won the last 2 Grand National races, Darlington, or rather Dover and Richmond falling to him. In the backstretch and working on Peck. The other car on the move is Chuck Bound, who's come from 32nd to 17th in these early laps. Bound had blown 3 engines this week, but apparently they found one that really works. And for the moment, he's catching up. Front 4 right here. 15 laps now complete. And there you see Earnhardt back with the program, and right behind him comes Chuck Bound. Remember that Bound is in that 16th position.
You know, Chuck usually doesn't do what the leaders do, but Ward Burton has an H&E motor in his car, and when Chuck blew 3 of his motors, he borrowed an H&E motor from Jimmy Hensley, the guy in the 25 car, and that's why he's running.
And take a look at this run here as Dale Jarrett scoots to the inside, puts Kenny Wallace back to 3rd. That is Dale Jarrett in the 32, Kenny Wallace right behind him, and then you see Waltrip running in 4th with that familiar number 17.
Ward Burton is kind of scooting away from these guys. I know they're passing back behind him, but still he's showing a lot of strength early in the race.
Great run for the South Boston, Virginia campaigner, whose dad, John Burton, has put a lot of effort into both of his sons and get them out racing. All right, field stabilized for the moment with Burton in front, Jarrett in second, Wallace in third, Waldrop in fourth. Take a look at what brought out the second caution just a few moments ago here.
Then we were wondering about the 48 car, Jack Sprague's car, and evidently it didn't cause the problem. The car's tangled up above him up there. I thought there was oil coming off the other car, but he just ran up in the back of a slower car. He might have got some oil off that car on the inside, but they just tangled up above the 48 car.
And that is the 19 of Cecil Eunice, who was the big victim in all of that. Showing 18 laps complete with Burton in front. There's Cecil Eunice, who's made it back on the track. Point standing battle in Grand Nationals, just as intense as in any other division.
Cecil's been running for Rookie of the Year this year, and he's kind of, it's gone ahead with just Jeff Gordon and David Green. Cecil hasn't been able to run all the races, but he was hoping to make a good showing here.
You saw Jeff Gordon collected in that instant. He has been able to continue. As you take a gander at Ward Burton completing his 19th lap, and he draws away by about 20 car lengths. Davey Allison has locked up with Harry Gannon. They're storming through the field now, the 28 and the 7. Up into the 17th position, back straightaway, and you begin to get a sense of the interval between Ward Burton and those challengers who are still up there looking for him. For the moment, he's got them covered. Now take a look at Davey Allison here. There's Resendez in the 79. He gets high. That car has been working the outside since the outset of the race. We've got trouble up in turn number 4. Phil Parsons is out of control. 4 cars spinning, including Bobby Labonte. Cars out of control, looping down the track. The car running backward is Bobby Labonte.
And there's Joe Nemechek. He's backwards on the racetrack. Jimmy Bounce spun but got through.
The number 72, which is the Mount Clemens Michigan racer. Tracy Leslie was in it. But we've had 3 serious early cautions in this event. We're showing 20 laps complete. Nemechek is coming back out on the track as they run back to the line. Make no mistake about it, Ward Burton has put his stamp on the leadership of the event as he just came around. I'm sure his spotter was telling him to stand on it and bring it through. It looked like it happened around Phil Parsons' car, where the first car broke loose. There's the 87 of Nemechek. Let's go down to the Stanley Pit Center. Jack Ingram is standing by down there for an observation with Mike Joy.
Thank you, Ken. Jack, 5-time champ, put the helmet on, climbed in for the pace lap today. For the last time, how's it feel knowing that you've walked away from that car now and we won't see you out there anymore?
Well, I got a little bit of mixed emotions sitting here watching this race on the monitor. I guess the total impact hadn't hit me yet. We just have to wait and see, but it's certainly becoming a little more emotional each minute I sit here watch this race.
When I first saw you, it was down in Martinsville. I came down with the modifieds, and you had that brown, well, it was a Chevelle, sometimes it was a Nova, and I think it was an oak stove on the side. And it was you and Monk Tate and Sam Arndt, and boy, you were the guys to beat. It was quite a show back then, and it still is today.
Thank you very much.
Well, happy to have you here, but as you look at this race unfold, and we saw that one replay of Hut Strickland getting body slammed after his car had stopped, and Bobby Labonte with the damage, and everybody else out there. Is this a safer seat right here, maybe?
Well, it looks like it today they're having a lot of problems. It seems like I really don't know what it's all about, but that's a shame for Bobby, him running real close in the points and getting involved in something like this early in the race. It could cause him to have a bad finish, but that's what racing for championships is about.
You've won 5 of these things, and some of them were close ones. What advice would you give a Bobby Labonte or a Kenny Wallace right now, just 7 points apart?
Well, you got to go out and give it your best shot with only 7 points apart. That's what got them there. They do whatever they got to do to run well. They didn't get there by going out and stroking or trying to finish the race. So by it being as close as it is, they're going to have to race hard for it all day.
So you wouldn't do anything differently? You just go out and run to win?
Absolutely. But, of course, there's Bobby. He's having a problem. His chances of winning looks like going to be tough today.
Back end of number 44, all torn up. They continue to do surgical work on the machine. Dick Berggren is there.
Okay. They had chosen this particular car because it was aerodynamically superior to the other 3 cars they tested here. This was the best. Aerodynamics was it. Forget the aerodynamics. They're going to be lucky to run. Steve Neal, a crew chief for Winston Cup, is looking at it. There are several Winston Cup crew chiefs down here trying to help. Everybody wants to see this kid go back out and be able to race, but he's got his hands full in the pits now.
We'll be back with more and show you what happened up here in turn number 4 in just a moment. 24 of 200 laps are complete. We're into the 3rd caution period of the day, and let's take a look at the incident which had the yellow flag here just moments ago. There you see Phil Parsons getting turned sideways with Dale Earnhardt right behind him, and then watch the results. Neil?
As they got together, it shoved the 6 car up there, Tommy Houston, up in the wall. Then they started stacking up again behind them. A couple of cars almost got stuck in the grass and couldn't get going again. And here's an inside the car shot. Big smoke screen. This is what's bad. Right there is what you see sitting in that seat. Smoke, you don't have any idea what's on the other side of it. And here we are with Labonte going round and round. And this one got the entire back end knocked off his car.
Came in here leading by 7 points in the championship battle. And his nemesis, Kenny Wallace, is still out there as he tries to thread his way down through. Nemechek spinning just in front of him. Of course, he's running backwards at that point. He's traveling backwards down out of turn number 4. Now, the latest word we have is that the number 3, Earnhardt, has been parked for rough driving. Let's get more on that from Randy Pemberton.
It was an unbelievable scene here during the break. NASCAR officials were communicating to the entire pit crew here in Dale Earnhardt's pit. What they told them is it was rough driving, making contact with Phil Parsons. They are cleaning this pit out. They are gathering now in the garage area. We'll go in the garage and try to get further word with Dale Earnhardt, but for the time being, he is out of this event.
So Earnhardt set down for rough riding on Phil Parsons in turn number 4. When's the last time you saw a call like that, folks?
They're starting to get a lot stricter on what happens on these racetracks. The penalty box and everything is involved with it. Every time we go to a racetrack, we're seeing something new. They're starting to put these guys in for 15 seconds, so they got their work cut out for them.
Ward Burton continues to lead with 25 laps complete in the All-Pro Auto Parts 300.
Jack Ingram have a look at that one more time and see if, as we get ready for a restart, if Dale Earnhardt, if it looked as if maybe he turned Phil Parsons around. And this call of rough riding and sending folks to the garage, Jack, is kind of new. Did it look like that to you?
Well, that's very, very difficult to tell by looking at this monitor. You might could tell better if you was down in that corner spotting like the NASCAR officials no doubt were. Phil could have backed off real quick, and Earnhardt didn't realize it, and he could have hit him more. I honestly don't think that he did that totally intentionally, but who knows? It's very difficult to say because the 2 drivers are really the only one that totally knows for sure.
Exactly, and I'm sure they'll discuss it later. We're back under green. Let's go back upstairs.
Indeed we are, coming around to complete the first lap after this 3rd caution period, and pulling away is Ward Burton. Dale Jarrett holds the stout second and shooting up through. Ernie Irvin, who started 10th on today's race, is now into that 3rd spot of the yellow car, number 10, and he's closed up on Jarrett. And you see just behind them Phil Parsons, who's gone a lap down after he was in this mess up in turn number 4. Randy Pemberton.
I'm standing here with Dale Earnhardt. Dale, what happened out there? Why are you in the garage area?
Did you see the replay?
I did not see it.
I haven't seen it. I know I didn't touch Phil until we got all spun around and we hit to get in, but Robert Black says to spun him out, so he put me out of the race. Pretty unfair, I think.
Who made the call to put you in the garage area? Do you know?
I reckon Robert Black. That's the one's calling the race. I don't know. I'm not up there.
Okay, Dale will be back tomorrow in the Winston Cup race, but maybe that comment that Jack Ingram made with Mike Joy down there, they can look at it again and find out exactly what happened down there between Phil Parsons and Dale Earnhardt.
What do you think, Bonnet? You've been there before.
I tell you, Jack hit the nail on the head. You know, do you see the first lick, or do you see the first time a guy gets sideways? Did he get out of the gas, or did Dale hit him? It's hard to tell. There's 2 people that really know. One of them's in the garage, and one of them's out there running right now. It's a lot of speculation when something like that happens.
See, look at the interval between first and this battle for 2nd place, Debbie, as the 32 and the 10 stay at it. 32 Jarrett, 10 Ernie Irvin.
Ernie Irvin right now is another one on probation, Ken, and he's, trying to keep his nose clean. And there's a lot of them that have had trouble this year.
Caution's back out. Yellow is on for the 4th time. Debris on the racetrack. There you see it. And back to the line, leading by 30 car lengths in just this brief period. We're now at lap number 31. And he just draws away. That thing is a missile that Ward Burton's driving today.
Again, he's running strong. And I saw as the 44 came off the corner, the rear bumper panel flew off of it after it had been damaged.
Let's see what happened out here.
This car here is when it just went back out. They tried to get everything prepared as well as possible. That's a fiberglass section on the rear, and without that aerodynamics, just like a parachute, it just snatched the rear section off of the car.
So Bobby Labonte continues to have his problems out here today. We're under caution. 4th time of the day. 31 of 200 are complete in the All-Pro 300 here at the 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Labonte's Oldsmobile back on pit road, leading in the Grand National point battle with 3 races to go after today. Off to New Hampshire International Speedway up at Loudon, New Hampshire next Sunday. And moving on to Rockingham and finally to Martinsville, and he's really having his problems. Here he is, the 44, rolling back out another time, trying to stay in that point hunt.
Ken, if he was any place other than here, that he could live with that kind of damage on a short track, but boy, it's really going to hamper what the car's capable of doing the rest of the day.
Coming down, ready to go green with 32 complete. As they come to the line, car number 27, Ward Burton in front, Dale Jarrett in second, Ernie Urban in third, Waltrip is in fourth. Now it's Kenny Wallace in 5th as they peel off into the first turn, and there's Parsons in the number 29 trying to stay in that lead lap. He can't make it from there, not with the Ward Burton car running as it is, although he's giving it a really stout try this time. He hasn't covered. Turn 3, goodbye.
Ward got ahead of him. Ward has that car just handling perfect. He's been real aggressive this year. He's been known to be a little rough by some of the other drivers, but he wants to win a Grand National race this year, and he's giving it a good shot here.
When you're running as good as he is right now, you don't have to be rough. There's nobody to mix it up with.
That's right. He's had a lot of little problems happen to him. Gas pedal has stuck, tire problems, but he's really showed some good driving.
Here you see the 27 of Ward Burton drawing away. That is a lap car. Phil Parsons, number 29, involved in the incident that has removed Dale Earnhardt from the event. He's been given the thumb and sent to the showers. Earnhardt has been declared out of it for rough riding. We can get more on the story from the Parsons pits. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
And I'm with Phil Parsons, crew chief Phil Poor. What did Phil say to you happened?
Well, he said that, he felt somebody hit him from behind. Said if it was Earnhardt or whoever who it was, it wasn't nothing intentional, nothing like that.
Well, that's what Phil apparently has told his crew, nothing intentional, but he did feel a hit.
Well, Neil wants to take another look at that and see from a little further back, perhaps, what developed that got Earnhardt out of this race. Perhaps we can take a look here in a moment at that car number 27, as it was involved, or 72 involved with car number 3, Earnhardt, up here in turn number 4, that brought out the 3rd caution of the day and brought Dale Earnhardt back to the garage area. 29 car. Here it is again.
He's following along behind him. He's right up behind him, and there's no doubt they got together, but the question is, did Phil get a little loose? Did he have to roll out of the throttle, or Dale hit him? Like I'm saying, the only people that know are the 2 guys in that car. I wouldn't think that this early in the event that you see a guy shoving somebody around, and just like Jack Ingram said, it's awful early for somebody to be running over somebody. Last lap, that's the time, you might put some heat on, but pretty early in the darn race right now.
37 laps are now complete, and Ward Burton draws a bead on first place and his first win in Grand National racing as he draws away from the field another time.
Dale Jarrett, his car. Ernie Irvin made a real good move in the 10 car on the restart, and he's right up in the middle of it. Here comes Darrell Waltrip right along behind him. These 3 cars right here are real strong contenders to win any Busch race. They got their work cut out for them to catch the lead car right now.
That leader's averaging 168 miles an hour per lap. But these cautions have really slowed the overall complexion of the event dramatically. No chance for a record here today. Now look at Waltrip trying on the inside to gun down the number 32, the 17 of Waltrip, low on the track as they lap number 44, Bobby Labonte, the Grand National point leader. Dale Jarrett stays right there with a good steady hand.
I thought maybe they'd stay in line together and try their drafting abilities and try to catch Ward Burton, but they kind of want to mix it around a little bit right now.
Jimmy Hensley is running 6th. Jeff Burton is to 7th. David Green is in 8th. Davey Allison in 9th. And Mike Wallace is in 10th. We have 5 sets of brothers in this race now. The Labontes out here, the Waldrops, Michael and Darrell, the Wallaces. There's the Burton brothers, Ward and Jeff. The Bound kids are out here. It's a family affair today.
As long as all the family stays in good stead, we're okay.
Ernie Irvan is wheeled into 2nd spot. He's around Dale Jarrett. Here you see Ernie Irvan, who is on probation these days. Will probation status affect your driving out here today, Ernie?
Now, I'm on probation pretty much all the time, so it doesn't affect the way I drive. You know, that's just a quirk they got down right now. They've been watching me pretty close anyway, because been in a few incidents with the Cup car, but I drive hard, and I got to where I'm at from driving hard, not from taking it easy. So we're going to drive hard still. I still don't understand what the probation's for, so they haven't been able to explain it to me, but no problem.
Right now, running in 2nd spot, car number 10, Ernie Irvan, to Ward Burton, who has the field covered and is drawing away. He has a quarter of a track. Look further back. Here's the 99 running in 6th spot. That's Jeff Burton, and he's closing up on number 36, Kenny Wallace, in 5th. And then look at the dogfight directly behind them as they wheel back to the line. Jimmy Hensley is on the outside in that 25 car. The 8 is David Green, then Davey Allison, Mike Wallace, Chuck Bound, Dave Resendez, all in there in that scurry for positions off the leaders.
Davey Allison in the shot. He had to run a qualifying race yesterday to get in the race, and he really ran lousy in that race. He ran about 8th in that race. I saw him this morning, said they made big improvements on the car, and he's getting up in the middle of it now.
Chuck Bound is one guy that wants to do well here. He is not mathematically out of this Busch Grand National Championship. Of course, he's the 1990 champion. He has gone from 32nd to 11th place due to all these crashes. But the unbelievable story with Chuck Bound is today, they are on their 4th engine this weekend. They broke 1 in qualifying, 1 in practice, and another one in the final session. This is just an unbelievable story. They borrowed an engine from competitor Jimmy Hensley, and that's the one that is in the automobile today, and he's doing quite well with it.
Report from Randy Penberton down on pit road, and the 63 of Chuck Bound, currently 5th in points, is now up to 11th after starting 32nd in the race. Cautions again out. It's number 5. That's the 5th caution of the day. Caution is down. We've got more debris on the speedway, and as that caution came, Jeff Gordon in the number 1 car, the Ford, had pulled on the pit road. He started to come back out again. I don't think he wanted to go down a lap, so he came in, and when he realized the caution was thrown, he started to make his way back onto pit road, and for the moment he's being held out there. Bobby Labonte looking up from a long way under today to that car number 44, and Ward Burton is a big surprise.
Front after pit stops by the leaders. Jack Ingram, in 18 years of running this race, you've led nearly 5,000 miles. That's 1,000 more than anybody, but never won it. What are some of the tough things that make this race so hard to win?
Well, you got to have a good finish. You got to have a good car. I mean, you got to be running around at the end with a good car. And I let Bobby Allison beat me about a half car length here once. Another time I was leading the race by almost a lap. I was almost ready to lap the 2nd place driver, and with 10 laps to go, and cracked the crankshaft and didn't even finish. Matter of fact, the pit crew had already headed to victory circle. So you got to be around at the end with a fast car to win this race.
How about Harry Gant, your Skoll brother? There he is up at the front of the field where he was the whole month of September. You beat and banged around with him on the little short tracks back before this was the Busch Series. It's got to be neat to see him having such success.
Well, it certainly is. I'm proud of Harry Gant as I would be of myself if I was doing that. Harry and I, we always did racers with each other, and we get to race back together, run each other, and he'd win the race most of the time. But Harry's probably the cleanest and the best driver that I've ever raced against. I know he's the best driver, and obviously he never has really done anything on the racetrack that's controversial. And Harry Gant's just an absolute prince of person as far as I'm concerned.
Well, calling Harry Gant the best, that comes from one of the best. Ken?
Harry Gant has certainly shown his colors today. 33rd after he won the consolation race. Now he waited for all those guys to pull in just so he could grab a piece of the lead for a moment out of here as he tries for his 3rd in a row. We saw him win at Richmond, went on and won at Dover. Here he comes again. pace car is dropping in. There are 46 of 200 laps complete as the green comes out, and Harry Gant is right back on the point. Mr. September is trying to stretch it into October. Let's see what he'll do.
Maybe he thinks this is September 36th. Just adding 5 more days.
He'd probably like to keep that count going right through to October and November.
Harry's so modest. He says, I'm not the best driver out there, but I am a big car.
He's driving the nail on these guys now.
Here's Davey Allison's car, number 28, on pit road. Davey is in trouble and going a lap down right now. Bobby Dotter is just behind him, also on pit road. Field coming by. Leader. It's Gant and Ken Schrader in this shuffle after that activity on pit road. Number 15 finds himself for the moment in second spot. He's won here before in this race. Michael Waltrip is now in third. Todd Bodine is in fourth. Terry Labonte up to fifth, and Terry's had a pretty good year. One up there at Watkins Glen in Grand National Racing this year and made it look easy on that road course. That's a toughie.
And this is kind of unique. We usually see Western Cup drivers up front in Busch races even, but the only way these guys got there was they didn't pit. They stayed out.
Take a look at this battle further back. Tom Peck in the 96 for fifth spot. Ernie Irvin in the 10 is right there, and that's Terry Labonte in the 94. 17 Waltrip. In a bundle as they get to turn number 1. For the moment, Labonte in the 94 draws away by 2 car lengths out of turn 2. High side is the way to go, and Ernie Irvin is there. 6 now, and here comes Waltrip on the outside as Peck falls back. Leader is Gant. In second spot, Schrader, then Michael Waltrip as Peck falls a little further back now. Front 3 are running about equidistant as they come out of turn 4.
Let's go down to Dick Bergman and see what he has on Davey Allison.
Well, Davey Allison, what happened?
Well, lost oil pressure as we were going down the back straightaway getting ready for that restart. We came in and the oil pump belt was gone, so I don't know if it might have hurt the engine or not. There's really not any sense trying to put an oil pump belt on there to go back out and then have the thing blow up. So it's just a tough break, man. We're all the way up tonight and we're running good. That's the way it goes.
He's had a tough time this weekend for sure in this division.
He had such a great time here this past May. Won just about everything. Not to be today.
Again, the problem they have with just replacing that oil pump belt on the 28 car, you see here, these little V6s turn on a lot of RPM, and that belt was off just a matter of 500 feet up that straightaway. The motor's probably gone. It'd probably crank up and run a little bit. Here's
Gant slowing down. Harry Gant sliding back. Looks like he's holding his own here after he dropped 2 positions. Schrader going through. But in comes Michael Waltrip. Something's amiss there. We need to get down to that number 7 pits. See what the story is on Harry Gant, who made a tremendous run, then got a break under caution, took the lead. He had flown up through traffic, and for the moment, it is Schrader's race.
You know what's funny about the deal with Gant? It looked like he pulled over and let those 2 cars by. He's just out of the frame here. He's just about 5 car lengths behind them, and actually pulling in. As we see right here, he's pulling back up on him. Looked like he just pulled over and let those guys have the lead.
There you see Schrader with the advantage over Michael Waltrip. Had a great race here back in May. Did Waltrip in the number 30 car. Ernie Irvin the 4th. Darrell Waltrip 5th. Todd Bodine is in 6th, and Todd has done some motoring out here. Remember, he's come up after having trouble getting his car clipped. Did they change the clip on that car?
You know, what they did is the front clip and the rear clip were really all right. They put the car on a jig. It was the center of the car that was all off, and they had to straighten it all back out, hung some new sheet metal, and then they got back out here this morning with it.
So, for the moment, Ken Schrader is in front. Second spot, Michael Waltrip right there in number 30 with 54 laps complete. Out of the 200 to be run in this 300-mile race. Remember, there is a break, halftime break in the event. Ken Schrader, for the moment, has the lead in the number 15. Here you see that battle in that number 30 car. Michael Waltrip in second spot, and here comes Ernie Irvin in third. That's been the story in this part of the race. Earlier, you just joined us. Ward Burton just scooted away. He was gone. Now Ward Burton in the 27 car finds himself in 6th position, and he has some making up to do. Tommy Houston's brought number 6 on pit road. Meanwhile, these 3 cars battling for the lead into the backstretch. And the question is Harry Gant in car number 7. What's the story on Harry? He's now back in 5th spot. Dick Berggren can tell us more.
Well, I really wish I could tell you exactly what's wrong with it. I can just tell you what the symptoms are, Ken. And the symptoms are he's got a bad tire vibration, possibly an equalized tire, possibly a bad
car
shock.
spinning and a big crash at turn number 4. Chuck Bounds, number 63, spinning. Another car is in the wall. Bounds' car lies sideways, and David Green's number 8 is in the wall on the outside. Number 63 of Chuck Bound, currently 5th in points, defending national champion. There's the Hamilton car. That one really got trashed. Take a look at the nose on Green's, and here's the 63 coming back. Left side damage on Chuck's car. Get a little nervous watching that? You've seen enough of it.
Well, I'm used to it. I know how NASCAR makes these cars safe. I know that they can take some pretty good licks, and we have spotters to watch the other cars to tell them there's a car in the middle of the track. So you just get used to it. You learn how to handle it.
Let's take a look at replay of what happened up here in turn 4.
Looked like right in the middle of the corner, looked like Chuck's car got loose. There's a little bit of smoke. It's hard to tell what causes something like that. Here's the thing that's tough on this is you slide back up into the groove with the driver's side of the car exposed to traffic. He's fixing to back right on up. The cars are trying to stay right up against the wall. Here comes the 8 car, nowhere to go, and just center punches him in the rear end of the car. It really wipes out the frontal section of the 8 car, and Chuck gets shot right back down the inside. But thank goodness it didn't hit right in the door. Looks like most of the lick was on the
number
rear.
34 was that other car involved. We'll take another look at it in a moment or two. Here's Chuck Bounds, number 63, resting on pit road, checking the rear end over after a pretty stout hit. And the other car, the green car that got collected in that, slid along the wall all the way down here to within 300 or 400 feet of the start-finish line. That is David Green. And he has walked away from the car. He's over by the ambulance in the grass now, but he's all right. The car, that looks like more than just putting on that front clip. David Green getting into the ambulance and going back for checkup, but he was able to walk over there and looks to be okay.
He did walk over to the ambulance, Ken, and it's just a procedure that they do to go get checked. Let's go down and see what Dick Berggren has to say in the pits.
Well, here again, his pitted. This is a good opportunity for him to do so. They now think maybe it was as simple as a loose wheel lug nut on the right side, but they're giving this thing a real good look-see. They can only change 2 tires. By the rules here, they say, no, we can't find anything. We don't know what's wrong. But that's got to be an unsettling thing for Harry to go back out without knowing what's wrong with his car.
This has been a terrible, terrible afternoon. Now, after we just got done talking about Chuck Bounds, not quite out of the points battle mathematically, that wreck really tore this race car up. The whole rear end is taken off the car, and not only that, they have a broken trailing arm. And if you know what a broken trailing arm, that controls the rear end of this automobile. All 4 flat tires are, you can see it as he rolls out of the pits. It's all askew. They will have to bring that car behind the wall and replace that broken trailing arm.
Well, thank you, Dick. And thank you, Randy. That's the story on pit road with 61 laps complete. Things don't sound too optimistic for the Bounds today.
Well, you know, like all these crews out here, you'll see Bob Labonte. They keep working on the cars. Chuck's crew, the Nescafe Classic crew, they'll work on that car and get it back out in the racetrack as long as they can keep it safe for them.
There it is, crawling back to the pits. Got to go back behind the wall, back into the garage area to be worked on. Number 63, Chuck Bounds' car, in big trouble after it had a pretty good run going here today. More with 62 laps complete from the Charlotte Motor Speedway and the All-Pro 300 after these messages. The All-Pro Auto Parts 300 is being brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right. Back with you once again. 63 laps now down at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the running of a wreck-strewn event thus far. We've knocked off, what, 7 caution periods to date, 6 today. And we're still early in the race. Remember, we have a midway break in this event at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As they get ready to go again, Ken Schrader is up in front. Michael Waltrip is second. Ernie Irvin is third. Darrell Waltrip fourth. Maintaining the 5th position is Ward Burton, who had set on the pole. Dale Jarrett finds himself 6th. Terry Labonte 7th. Tom Peck is 8th. Jeff Burton is 9th. Resendez is in 10th. And Kenny Wallace is in 11th spot. Incidentally, Shauna Robinson, who who started in the 41st position, has worked her way up to 17. So Shauna, the only lady on the field, having a tremendous run. Here's Randy Pember.
Well, I'm here with Chuck Bow, and of course, look at this crew work on this automobile. They're going to replace the trailing arm and probably a whole lot more on this Nescafe Pontiac. Chuck's still sitting in the car. Chuck, what happened out there?
Well, to tell you the truth, it was just a little loose, and I was running a little too hard, and it just got away from me. I lost it in turn 4 there, and caused some of the other guys some problems and tore our car up pretty good, but it's too bad. I wanted to finish good this one today, and I just ran a little too hard, and it got away from me.
Is that what's going on with the rest of the field? I mean, we've seen all these crashes today.
Well, I think it's a little bit looser out there than what we anticipated with the cloud cover, but most of them are doing a pretty good job. But I think we're done with the Nescafe Classic Pontiac today.
Do you want to ask your husband anything?
No, I mean, that just happens sometimes. You run hard, and he tries to be competitive, and he just got a little too loose.
All right. We'll be back with more here this afternoon. Complete. No personal orders from the bounds out here up on the racetrack.
All torn up. Jeff Gordon. Seems when one rookie has trouble, David Green's in the wall. Jeff Gordon is smoking. Jack Ingram, you've watched this race for 18 years from out the windshield, but how does it look here in the monitor to you?
Well, this really looks rough. I didn't realize that sitting here inside this thing and seeing all this on this monitor, that's almost unbelievable. I really don't see races Charlotte that I was in, it had this many crashes. It could have been, I can't remember this.
But it looks all pretty calm and collected from where you've sat.
Well, yeah, it's just happening. Races are that away sometimes, but I hadn't saw a Busch race here that was these many crashes this early on.
They have torn them up here in the early going, and we're not even to halfway when we'll take a break. I remember when we'd run, what, Martinsville, Hickory, some of these would be 500 lap straight races for you guys, and here they got to go 100 laps and have halftime. What do you think of that?
Well, I never was a fan of stopping and resting for a while. That to me is something that I guess the Speedway wanted to do in NASCAR, but I personally don't like it.
Drop the green and let's go run. Let's go run 500 laps. That's the way they did it in the old days, and they still do it a lot of these tracks. Who do you like in this race so far?
Well, there's a lot of good drivers up there. Harry, again, if he gets that thing straightened out, he's going to be the one to beat, it looks like, because he's the most experienced of the drivers in the Busch race, the Cup drivers anyway, that's still on the race.
Okay, let's go back to green.
As they come by, 67 laps will be complete. We're 100 miles into this 300-mile event. Straight around in front. And Harry Gant, after making some pit stops, has got to come from way out back to car number 7 if he wants to get back in this one.
And Phil Parsons is really working hard right now to try to get that lap back. His car's been able to run right there with the leaders, but it's hard to get a lap back for somebody running like Schrader is right now.
Down to the inside, Ernie Irvin in the number 10 makes a challenge on car number 30. And this looks like a replay of Loudon, New Hampshire back in July when the 30 and 10 went at it for 20 laps. But look at this breakaway. Down on the inside, Michael Waltrip in number 30, blazing down there. His sponsor, the car owner, you see Pennzoil on it, but it's also All-Pro that has kept him in business over the years, and he'd like very much to put it all together today and win with that car for two sponsors, the All-Pro folks and for the Pennzoil folks. 3 wide, how about that? And Ernie Irvin scoots down to the bottom, goes up on the 24-degree banking through turn 3, and Irvin's going to take the lead.
And we've got our Busch Grand National driver, Ward Burton. He's fighting for 3rd right now, Ken, so they're going to hang up there with the Winston Cup guys, maybe learning something from them right now.
Now take a look at Ward Burton. Right behind him is the 17 of Waltrip. As they scoot down into turn number 1, Ward Burton, having this fantastic day in the number 27 car, is 3rd. And he's worked his way back. He's 7 points, set a new track record. And it's Ward Burton in 3rd, closing in on Michael Waltrip as Ernie Irvin is taken over out in front. There you see Ward down to the inside out of 4. And he's got it hitched up. He's into 2nd place. Meanwhile, Waltrip is making his run on the inside. He's fighting with Schrader, and that's a pretty good battle for 4th.
Darrell right behind Mike Waltrip Darrell Waltrip trying to get around Schrader. Darrell's going to really work good inside. And here comes
Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett to the inside also.
Dale Jarrett down into a turn 3, gets to the bottom of the racetrack with the number 32 car.
We've got a car spinning up the middle of 3 and 4 again, right in the same place.
Looks like Presley's car, huh?
Yep, that's right. 59 car, Robert Presley. He tried to drive it back up on the racetrack and spun the wheels.
So caution is out still another time. Wreck screwed. Caution is out on the speedway another time. And that brings out the 7th, and there's no caution. After that wild spin, there is no caution. Presley is coming in. Here come the leaders. Here's Ernie Irvan out in front, and right with him comes Ward Burton for the lead. Change of leadership as they come to the line. Lap 72. Ward Burton back in front, and Ernie Irvan's been stung. He comes right back on the outside and retakes the lead.
Earlier, when Ward Burton was leading the race, the 10 car of Ernie Irvan was the only one that could really move up to him. They've got a lot of work right now to get back around Ward.
Ward Burton in the Buick out in front. Michael Waltrip's Pontiac goes to second. Ernie Irvan falls to third. Ward Burton, you've got a reputation as being a hard charger. Is that deserved?
Well, that's the way I drive, so I guess it fits me. I've been getting a little hard publicity by some of the drivers thinking I'm a little rough on them, and there's been some times where maybe I was. But I am an aggressive driver, and I'm going to take my car to the front if I can get it there, and I'm trying not to knock anybody out of the way, on the way, but you know, it's a sport out here. We're all just so competitive. There's so many good running cars. You're going to have some contact sometime, and I'm going to be a charger, and unless owner tells me differently, where I'm driving, that's where I'm going to drive it.
South Boston, Virginia's Burton now with a 15-car length advantage and drawing away, and what a show he's putting on. Irvan second, Schrader third, Michael Waltrip in fourth, and Darrell Waltrip has just moved back into 5th spot. Right with him comes Dale Jarrett. Also getting into this tangle is Terry Labonte in the 94. Here you see Terry Labonte's 94 just behind Darrell Waltrip. Puts Terry into 6th. Darrell Waltrip in 5th. And then Dale Jarrett.
It's unbelievable how Ward Burton has pulled away from this group. He's another one of the brothers. His brother is in the 99 car, Jeff Burton. And Jeff's been, you know, they go back and forth on how well they do. Like I say, Ward's had problems, but he's not having any problems today. He can handle them all.
He's got everybody for the moment covered. They pitted. When all the leaders came in, he fell back. Now he finds himself able to get right back up through the field. Car number 33 has just gone back to the garage area. Ed Barrier out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, great racing family. That Grease Lightning car has gone back to the garage. Barrier retiring at lap 75 is when he pulled in.
Well, I'll tell you, when Ward Burton took the lead, that was very impressive. He started probably 15th or 18th after that restart and drove by the guys that were just battling for the lead, and now he's pulling away from them.
It's a 20-car length advantage for Ward Burton this time. Here's Dave Resendez in that 79, and he has his hands full with Kenny Wallace in the 36. That's for 8th spot. Meanwhile, Ward Burton is in front. Let's give you an idea about the interval out here. There's Ward Burton out in front. As you look back there, there's that second place car, Ernie Irvan in the number 10, that Chevrolet maintaining that second spot. Then you see Schrader running in third as we check the interval for you around the speedway at lap 77. And there you see the 30, the Waltrip brothers, Michael in the 30 and 17, Darrell running 5th. Behind them, as they lap Bobby Labonte in the 44, is Terry Labonte, his brother, in the 94. The Oldsmobile, it started 34th. Next up in line is Dale Jarrett running in 7th in the 32. See Phil Parsons, number 29. He's been trying to make that lap up all afternoon, and it just has not worked out for him. Had a good run going, got caught up in an incident with Dale Earnhardt, and there's Bobby Labonte still trucking out there, trying to get something back. Resendez in the 79, Kenny Wallace and Jeff Burton scooting along through there. You see the 79, then the 36, and the 99 of Jeff Burton. So you're looking at 9th, 10th, 11th position. The 99 currently shown 11th. Jim Bound in car number 16, 12th out here in all of this. Bad break for Phil Parsons. Hadn't going well at the beginning. Caught up in a major calamity in turn 3, and he's been trying to make up a lap. Now you see Tom Peck in lane 6. We have Tom Peck listed in 13th, moving around, picking up some positions. He's picked off 2 out there, Neil.
He's been moving up through the pack as the race started. I've seen him run a lot of these Busch races, and it seems like the longer he runs, the better he gets all day long.
Take a look at this, 16 and 7. That is Jim Bound in the 16 and the 7 of Harry Gant. And they are on a thrash. Jim Bound is now up to 13th. Harry Gant comes back to 14th. And Harry Gant's car seems to have been remedied from whatever problems it was having. Andy Pemberton can tell us more about it.
I'll tell you what, Ken, this team was very concerned down here in the pit. They told me that he broke either a ratchet or an axle. And they said, boy, it is a handful, but if anybody can drive it, it's Harry Gant. I don't know, Neil Bonnet, what's it like driving with one of those problems in a car like this?
Randy, I tell you what, it's like driving a street car with 700 horsepower. You're just pulling with one wheel. And another thing that really affects it is when you go down in the corner, you use the motor to back the car down, to slow it down. He's doing it with one wheel. It jerks the car out from under you. So he's having a problem getting in the corner and off. If it was someone but like a person like Gant, he'd have his hands full right now.
Tommy Ellis in the 12. Had been running 12th. He's falling back. Peck is making a very good run. So is Bound in that 16 and the 7 of Gant. Looks like he's going to be around at halfway. Make another charge up in front.
I think Tommy Ellis had just got trapped behind that slower car. He had been side by side with Tom Peck, battling him in front of Harry. So I think Tommy had just got trapped behind a slow car.
And Todd Bodine's number 34, wending its way back through the field, now being shown in 14th position.
Well, Gant is moving up through the pack, and that's with one-wheel drive. That's kind of hard to do.
At 83 laps, you have 20 cars still on the lead lap. Taking a break at lap 100. They'll run to lap 101, bring them on pit road for 15 minutes of work, and then send them back out. And what are we going to do today on pit road?
Well, they're going to stop. They'll stop the race. They take a 15-minute break. The only thing they can change is tires. They can adjust everything else, but they can't change them. They can raise a Panhard bar, but they can't put a new Panhard bar in. So that's really about all they can do. Take a drink, talk to their crew, go back racing.
Well, a fellow who has led a charmed life today is Kenny Wallace, the number 2 point man. You see him here running on the lead lap. He missed the first big wreck, and he missed the last big wreck. I don't know how he drove through it. I'm going to have Jack Ingram explain it to us, but look for Wallace's black car coming toward the bottom of the screen on both of the replays you'll show us. He's not in the picture yet, but watch him miss Earnhardt. Jack?
Well, I think that's Robert Presley, but out in front, down in front off the monitor, I think that's Kenny's brother. Kenny's thrown down in the grass, spinning around.
Now we'll see him again here coming out of turn number 4, sliding in the grass. There he is.
There he is, absolutely. Now he's got his car pretty much under control there, except he drives it down pit road.
And he gets spun in the grass, but got righted and got right back out there and running. Is that just lady luck, or is that skill, or a combination?
That's both. I would say some wrecks you can't stay out of, but Kenny's doing an excellent job of keeping his car on the racetrack, and as I like to call it, keeping a clean car to be around at the finish.
Got himself in 8th position thus far. I think I'd call that blind luck.
That helps a lot of times. And when we came back, here's Schrader, who just passed Ernie Irvan for 2nd place. So Schrader's going to see if he can run that Ward Burton.
A lot of times, that first time, I'm sure that was triggered by his spotters saying, get down, get low, get on the apron, get out of the way.
When you cut across that grass there, it's hard to keep a car straight. You get out of the gas, you got to keep feeding the gas along. And when he came through the grass, he was lucky he didn't get back up in the racetrack in traffic again.
Yeah, Neil, most folks always talk about staying high, let everything fall off the racetrack. So what did you think of that move?
Well, you know, I never went that way. I tried to see where they hit and what direction they were going to go, so it's just a gut call.
Back in a moment with more from Charlotte with 88 laps complete. Pennzoil aerial team piloted by Randy McMavis and the cameraman Lawrence Karoff giving us these pictures. As you see, car number 17, Waltrip. I trying to do something about Ken Schrader in that black number 15 just in front of him. Now looking a little further back in the field. Here you see the 94, Terry Labonte, currently in the 6th position, and directly behind him, Dale Jarrett closing in. Right in front of them are the 10 and the 30, Ernie Irvin and Michael Waltrip, respectively, in 4th and 5th. Irvin is 4th, Michael Waltrip at number 30 in 5th, and here you see Terry Labonte in 6th. Behind him, it's Dale Jarrett in 7th, and Kenny Wallace maintains the 8th spot.
We're seeing Dale Jarrett right here. He was up there in about 2nd, 3rd place while ago. He's dropped back to 7th. He might be having a little bit of problem with his race car right now.
Continuing that rundown just a bit further back. At the present time, Resendez is in 10th, and Jeff Burton remains 11th. 12 is the 12 of Tommy Ellis. Todd Bodine finds himself 13th, and Jim Bound is now in 14th. Here's Waltrip, number 17, closing in on car number 15. Chuck Bound, after work behind the wall, is back on the track many laps down in car number 63. This action at lap 94, getting down toward the midway break here. Waltrip trying to pick up a spot from Schrader.
Darrell's car seems to really be working well through 3 and 4 in the middle of the corner, right down on the line. Here he is right here. Both of them run this virtually the same pattern here, but Darrell seems to be getting through 3 and 4 just a little bit better.
2nd place battle right here. Schrader in 2nd place. Waltrip trying to take it away. Franklin, Tennessee campaigner, qualified 9th for today's race. Here he is coming down to the bottom of the track. 4-time winner in Grand National Racing here in the fall at Charlotte, North Carolina. But it's been a while since he's won a Grand National race. Got to go back to 1989.
We're looking at Schrader's car coming straight at us just then. He's got the fender area torn completely off the car, but one of the keys for him still be able to run fast, the nose section is still on the car. The window panel, the headlight panel is still in. And the thing like a bullet. The front area of the car is still working good. He just got some missing body panels on top of the tire.
Here comes the 17 to the outside. We've got a spin down in turn number 2. Caution is out another time. Yellow is on the track. So the count on cautions continues to go up here today. Here's Resendez, number 79. Remember that he had been running in 10th position, and it has taken a hard hit. Dave Resendez came down from Massachusetts with his dad. Good, strong runner. Has brought out still another caution. That would be the 7th of the day, and we have the halfway mark still in front of us. 96 complete. This may take us to halfway, Neil.
Yeah, when we start talking about halfway, it makes me wonder if you can do body work on the halfway mark, because it looks like Earl Scheib needs to get a hold of about half of these cars. Even the lead cars have got damage from all these accidents we've had.
Resendez 79 down at the bottom. There's Grissom's number 31. You can't jack them up, right?
Well, you can jack them up. You can jack one side up or the other side up. You cannot put 4 jack stands under the car on pit road. You will be penalized 1 lap if you do.
There's the story of what's going to happen in that halftime today. Seems like they'd give them an opportunity to fix those cars up a little more, Neil.
Well, if you started that, Ken, you'd have guys snatching motors out of the thing, sticking another one, and they change motors in these things in about 15 minutes. So they've got to have a stopping point. But I think the biggest problem we have is the body damage on a lot of these cars.
Coming by, Ward Burton at lap 97 has the advantage. We'll be back with more in a moment from Charlotte. 98 laps are now complete. We're under the 7th caution of the day. Ward Burton is leading. Darrell Waltrip is in 2nd. Ken Schrader is in 3rd. And Ernie Irvin is 4th. And there you see Joe Nemechek's number 87. They just done a little cosmetic surgery on that rig.
Ken, when the car came in on the caution, is when the car comes on around a little bit better angle, the entire front nose area of the car is one piece, fiberglass. They put an entire nose on the front of that car. If he can just ride around here for about 3 more laps, when the thing comes out later, they can do some more work on it. But they had to put an entire front end on that car. Everything was just like a parachute in front.
Taped up like Grandpa's suitcase as he comes by there. Car number 87. And here's Harry Gant's car number 7. And the story continues on Gant. He made a great run, got himself well up through the field, and inherited 1st place. Fell back, trying to get himself back into this thing. He won this race previously. For the moment, Harry Gant's got a lot of work to do out here with car number 7. They are being shown 8th overall in the field, and it's a ways to go against some tough guys right now.
Harry Gant's role is still going in Busch Grand National. He has won the last 2 Busch Grand National races, so he's going for 3 in a row.
Richmond and Dover have fallen to Harry Gant and car number 7, who had such a phenomenal September, winning 4 Winston Cup races, 2 in Grand National. We're getting down the next lap by. I think they'll throw it out. We've got a car in trouble down on pit road. Is that Elliott's car?
The car's catching on fire right now.
That looks like Mike McLaughlin, maybe?
Mike McLaughlin's car.
He's at the entrance to pit road, and what happened, the motor died, and he's spinning it over, and it's probably got a busted valve or something in it, and it flashed back. That's a carburetor fire through the intake manifold. That's where the air goes in for the carburetor, and it's flashed back. And
he was
hopefully it won't get any worse.
Running 2 laps down and being shown in the 22nd position, we're told. Car 23rd position, and the fire continues to build out there. They've got a crew there to douse it on Mike McLaughlin. I'd like to see this guy get a good run. He's certainly been a great competitor up in the Northeast for some time, and he's the kind of committed racer you'd like to see get an opportunity to come down here. They keep coming, and thus far they've had some problems. Big problem down at Daytona, the first race of the year. For the moment, Mike McLaughlin's car is back in trouble another time. Car number 51, that Coors car for McLaughlin, put up, and once they douse you with that dry chemical, that's a problem.
When you take it back, if the car's not damaged real bad, it's hard to get that stuff cleaned off of it enough to get it back in competition. But you've got to put that fire in here. That thing can run down the fuel line to the fuel cell. Big explosion, then you got a mess.
So we come around with 100 laps and halfway being indicated to the field as they come by this time with Ward Burton's car being shown first. There you see the caution, the halfway mark. Waltrip second, Schrader third, Ernie Irvin fourth, Michael Waltrip fifth. Terry Labonte coming across the line 6th, then Jarrett, Harry Gant in 8th, Kenny Wallace 9th going down into turn 1. Jeff Burton would be 10th, Tommy Ellis up to 11th, Jim Bound in 12th. So we're at the halfway point. We'll take a 15-minute break, halftime here in the All-Pro 300 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. More in a moment.
Welcome back. It's halftime at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and due to threatening weather, it's been cut to just a 5-minute break, so the crews will have to work fast. Gives us time for our first Big A Auto Parts update. There's already been some good racing here at Charlotte today. The Duron Paint and Wall Coverings 100 for NASCAR's new Super Speedway Sportsman Division. Let's have a look at the highlights of that 100-miler run earlier today. That's not Dale Earnhardt you're seeing, but maybe it might as well be. Kirk Shelmerdine, his Sunday Winston Cup crew chief, fulfills his lifelong ambition of getting behind the wheel, and he ran from the front and spent much of the race in front here at Charlotte in the course of these 100 miles. Mark Cox, the black and orange car on the inside, 74, passes Ronnie Sewell there for second, and pole sitter T.W. Taylor, number 22, follows through for third. A late race yellow flag would close up the pack, and it would become just a 1-race sprint as they would come down to the wire. Here it is, Shelmerdine in front, Mark Cox looking for racing room underneath, couldn't find it. Shelmerdine holds on to score a big victory from behind the wheel. Let's have a look at the top 5. Kirk Shelmerdine, the race winner. Mark Cox hangs on for second, pole sitter Taylor, Robert Huffman, and first lap leader Freddie Query. In our second Big Day update later on, we'll have the qualifying results for tomorrow's Winston Cup race here at Charlotte. Ken?
Thank you, Mike. The weather conditions are as follows. They're reporting now a pretty good chance of showers in the next hour, and they are really making every effort to move this thing along. So it was the decision of H.A. Wheeler, president of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, to cut it from 15 minutes to 5, and it's at 3:37 right now before they'll turn them loose again. Here's Randy Pember.
Well, I'm down here with Harry Gant. Originally, they thought it might be a ratchet in the rear end, and then it was an axle. But now they're talking about the bushing in the trailing arm. Harry Gant, I know it's been a handful out there. Have you decided what the problem is in the automobile in the rear end?
We ran a long time a while ago with the tire equalized real bad. It knocked the bushing out of the front trailing arm, and the rear end turns as you throttle the car, so it's awful hard to drive.
So that's the story from Harry Gant, Neil. Hard to drive down here.
Randy, whenever that bushing comes out of there, to start with a problem with that equalized tire, it's so out of balance, it just virtually shakes the car to pieces. That bushing is about 1.5 inches in size, and it had to be shaken pretty good to tear that out of there. And now if they can't replace that bushing, that thing, when he mashes the gas, the rear and runs to the rear of the car, tries to turn the car sideways, they're going to have to fix it.
But the story is he's still in 8th place. Tough old Harry. All right, let's go down and meet the leader right now at halfway.
The leader's nice and calm sitting here on pit road while everybody frantically works on your car. Are you just going to run away with the second half? What are you going to do?
Well, I tell you what, it'd be nice. This Charlotte track has always been super to me. It's a showcases all the tracks we go to. This Walton Big 8, J. Chisholm Buick race car is handling super for me today, and I owe it to all of the crew and the guys working this family right now.
How are you running? How are you going to run this thing? You're going to have to run it wide open the second half. Have you got any in reserve?
I got a little bit. I'm going to run as hard as I can every lap like I normally do.
There's your leader.
Finished 7th here, back for the win today. Ward Burton. We'll find out if he can get it in the second half.
Make tracks to Sunday night for serious racing action on Fast Sports. The thunder begins to rumble with awesome events, including racing from the NASCAR Grand National Circuit, IMSA, World Grand Prix motorcycling, and more. Then, on Sunday evenings, check out our lineup of shows devoted to motorsports enthusiasts. Wheel Power, IndyCar World, This Week in Cars, the Chevrolet Motorsports Hour, This Week in Dirt, This Week on Pit Road, plus Formula USA Road Racing and the AMA Motocross Circuit. Sunday nights are louder than ever on Fast Sports. Just watch us.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by the following. Big A Auto Parts. Whether you like to do it yourself or let a Big A Pro service your car, look to the sign of Big A for everything you need to keep your car running right. And by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right. Back with you once again at Charlotte. We're just down to the final moments before they crank them up and bring them back around, get ready to go. There you see the countdown before they send them down pit road and back into competition here. 15-minute intermission, cut down to just 5 with weather in the offing that doesn't look any too pleasant at the Charlotte Motor Speedway today. They say the rest of the weekend looks grand, but there is a chance of showers this afternoon. So to make sure somebody graces that start-finish line with a real 300-mile winner, they're kicking those cars off pit road right now with Ward Burton out in front, the dominating car in the first half of the race. 7 cautions in the first half. Might get a gander here at the Big A Auto Parts mid-race report shortly. You can see some of that weather beginning to develop.
Let's have a look at the Busch Grand National point standings and let you know where these drivers are running in this race right now and what will happen as a result if this race were to end. Bobby Labonte came in here with a 7-point lead. He is way back in 26th spot. Kenny Wallace came in just 7 points in arrears. He's in good shape. He's in 9th place. Jimmy Hensley currently posted in 14th position on the racetrack. Joe Nemechek's had problems, been involved in those wrecks. He's back in 23rd. Chuck Bound wrecked up his car. He's back at 29th, and the man behind him is Robert Presley. He's in 27th place in the race. So among the Pointer sisters, only Kenny Wallace having a real good day thus far.
The Pointer sisters. All right, well, we'll see how they come out before this one's over. Bad day for Labonte. So far, Wallace just hangs in here and keeps taking those points down, and that's all important to him as we get set for the second half of the race. Field just about ready to roll out behind the pace car. There you see work continuing on Joe Nemechek. Now that looks like something you'd see over at Montgomery on Saturday night, that kind of work. Here's Randy Pember.
Well, I'm down here with Joe Nemechek. This has been unbelievable what the team has done to this automobile. They have taken the nose off of Tom Peck's automobile. Of course, this car is a Chevy. Tom Peck's is an Oldsmobile. They've got straps running across the car, tape. I talked to Tom Peck briefly. They offered them the nose of this car, and now Joe Nemechek is going back out. But I've got a feeling that that is really going to cut down on some airflow into that automobile for the rest of this race. Neil Bonnet, what do you think? Is it difficult to drive? Of course, with the air coming through the car like that, it should be hindered.
I'll tell you what, Randy, it's going to be a handful, and I'm not real sure that thing will fit the Tempest with the 2 different kind of body designs.
That thing may take off like a sail. It may float around this racetrack.
Here's Schrader's car sitting down there. You know, we noticed there was some damage on the left front fender earlier in the race, and whenever they were working on pit road, they were using a lot of duct tape. They said they couldn't do a lot of body work, but I'd like to have the duct tape concession that went on during this 5-minute stop. There we see over the top there. They didn't actually fix it right where the tire tire was, but they got the nose panel where it's a little bit more aerodynamic. Schrader was running in second, third place. If they helped it a little bit, he'll be in good shape.
And Schrader is running third as we get ready to go again. Incidentally, Nemechek is running back in 23rd as he continues. Remember, he's in fourth in the points, trying to stay in front of Chuck Bound, so it's very important he stays out there.
I'm not sure if it runs faster than it did before. It's still going to be hard to get that different body design nose approved on that car.
Okay, we're just about set to give you a Big A Auto Parts mid-race report here. Here you see the story thus far. Lead changes 5. It's been pretty much Ward Burton's race from the outset. And the average speed just 109 miles an hour. Really slow out here. And that's been created by the fact we've had so many cautions. 7 of them, total of 32 laps, and 9 cars have retired from the event. As we take a little look deeper into this Big A mid-race report, out of the race, Morgan Shepherd on the very first lap. Hut Strickland right after that. Dennis Setzer, who had such high hopes. Jack Sprague, who had qualified so well up on the outside of the front row. Dale Earnhardt, if you just joined us, thrown out of the race. They said that he was rough riding when he hit Phil Parsons, so he was sent to the showers. Davey Allison's car retired, and there's more to this list. Bob Dotter, the Chicago campaigner, is out. Ed Barrier's number 33 no longer in the race. And that Carolina Ford car, number 1, Jeff Burton, has gone away. Now, here are the lap leaders. Ward Burton dominating that first 45 laps. Gant took that lead under caution. Then Schrader just drove up through. Michael Waltrip made a great maneuver. He took the lead for 1 lap, and would you believe it? It was just 1 lap. Ernie Irvin came right back, shot him down on the inside, and then Ward Burton, after that caution period, been back in 6th or 7th, motored right on up through and just took off, leading at the halfway point.
Ward Burton needs to lead the next 5 green flag laps to pick up the $10,000 bonus for the halfway mark.
Now, the halfway report came down with a caution flag on the track, so you've got to lead 5 green flag laps to collect the $10,000.
That's
so
right.
These next 5 laps are crucial to Ward Burton to pick up that extra money.
$10,000 is a big deal to a Busch driver. That's what a lot of the races pay, so that halfway mark is pretty important to him.
Ken, these guys were so busy on pit road, I don't think the crews actually knew that they cut it back from 15 minutes to 5 minutes. They've been so busy. I don't know if they knew it was the weather. They just thought
that was a fast 15 minutes.
It keeps you plenty busy, I'll tell you that.
All right, coming back to the line, and here you are riding with Bobby Labonte once again. That Budweiser in-car camera keeping you up to date on what's happening. As you watch the 44, remember that he is in 26th position. He was caught up in one of those early incidents. Got the car sawed off on the tail end, beaten up on the nose. He is showing only 88 laps complete, while the cars running in the lead lap, of which there are 19 of them, have completed 102.
That car directly in front of him that we can see through his windshield is the 8 car. That's David Green. He was in that wreck on the front stretch. He's leading in rookie points right now, so he wanted to get back out there to get a good finish in today.
I also see Chuck back out there. You know, he said he thought the car was used up and they wouldn't be able to get it back, but that's just a good indication. These mechanics are capable to do a lot of work, even to a car as severely damaged as that was.
They do. We see a lot of sheet metal damage, like Steve Grissom's out there. Bobby Dotter's been out there. But the crews put the cars back together and do a good job with it.
Coming to the line, Burton in first, Darrell Waltrip second, Schrader third, Ernie Irvin fourth, Michael Waltrip is in fifth, 6th is Terry Labonte, 7th Dale Jarrett, 8th is Harry Gant, 9th is Kenny Wallace, 10th Jeff Burton coming to the line. Then at 11th, it's Tommy Ellis. 12th is Jim Bound. 13th, Todd Bodine. 14th is Jimmy Hensley. 15th is Tom Peck. And the number 49 of Shawna Robinson is in 16th. And Jeff Purvis 17th. On the break, second half underway. Remember, 5 laps in front. An extra $10,000 for Ward Burton. Waltrip trying to take it away.
Maybe it's show and tell time. I think Darrell has been sitting right there with the lead cars. It's going to be interesting here to see if Ward Burton can just pull away and take that $10,000.
There's one. To Dick Burke.
Well, I'm with Eddie Jones. He's Darrell Waltrip's crew chief. You guys are riding in second. What are you going to do about getting it up in first?
Well, the car's been just a little bit off all day, and Daryl's been driving his heart out, making up the difference for us. And hopefully, in this second period, after we sort out what we did at the break, we get another caution, and we can make up the rest of the difference and help him out.
Incredibly, this team has not won since 1989, but when they did, it was with this car.
Mike Wallace has gone back behind the wall for work on car number 93. Kenny Wallace, his brother, stays 9th on the field. Darrell Waltrip, falling back into the clutches of Schrader in the 15. Taking a look, this was the complete rundown on the field as we came to the halfway point. This was how they were running at halfway. Excuse me, Neil.
You can bet that just like that Wallace car, they'll try to get that car back out of the garage and get it on the track, because that puts the car in between Kenny and Labonte. Labonte is still running, and if he runs enough laps, he'll pass some of those cars that's fallen out. So they'll be trying to get those cars back in the race.
Pretty good scramble coming out of turn number 2 in this battle, as we see Schrader going into second spot, dropping Waltrip to third, and directly behind Darrell Waltrip in third. There's another scrimmage taking place with Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, Ernie Irvin, and Harry Gant involved just behind this twosome. Coming back to the line, you see Presley car number 59 a lap down, and then it's 30 and 32. Michael Waltrip and Dale Jarrett respectively. Here's your leader, Ward Burton, working on that $10,000 bonus, and it's his. He is pulled away by 30, 40 car lengths again. What an incredible motor must be in that number 27 today.
Yeah, Ken, he's got a lot of motor, but boy, his car is working anywhere. When he came through the traffic after he pitted and the leader stayed out the time before, he just drove around him on the bottom and the top of the racetrack. They just got the car working all the way around the racetrack. That's a $10,000 clap right there. They finally made that 5 laps, and they just collected $10,000 and celebrating in the pits.
Be a big party tonight. The Buick of Ward Burton dominating as it did in the early part of the race. Here in the second half, 109 laps are now complete.
Debbie hit the nail on the head while ago. You said $10,000 is a lot to a Busch racer. It certainly is.
That's right. They can use that. And I think the pride means a lot to them too.
Yeah, that's the Waltrip and the Schrader behind them, so they're enjoying that.
That's right.
Here's Tom Peck going down to the inside, trying to work his way through from 17th, and Shawna Robinson in that number 49 right there. This is a good scramble back in 16th position. Shawna Robinson, remember that she started her day in 35th position in that Oldsmobile. And here she is going to the inside as she works on Jim Bound in car number 16. He's running in 15th spot. And Shawna Robinson, who started out in truck racing, really looking strong.
She sure is. The car she is in. Ed raced with us this year and had some medical problems, and he put Shawna in the car for this race today. She's run about 4 races here at Charlotte in Daytona Dash cars, and she's come in 4th here at Charlotte in those cars. Never run the radials here at Charlotte.
Down the back straightaway, Shawna Robinson drawing away, and she goes searching for the car of Jeff Purvis, the number 14 car, currently being shown, 14th. Good run. 112 laps now complete. There's that interval between 14th and 15th position. Here's Jeff Purvis, who started 27th on the day.
They just went by the 8 car, David Green, who's going pretty slow on the race car.
Is that 34? I may misled you there. That may be that Todd Bodine car just in front of it.
Here's a Wallace and Labonte battle. It's the right Wallace and the wrong Labonte. Terry Labonte with Kenny Wallace after him, and they were really mixing it up for a few laps, and they're kind of getting sorted out right now. But Kenny has really got to try to make up the time. He needs to be up in the front right now when the guy that's battling for points is having a little bit of trouble. He needs to move on up to him.
Here's the story further back. Jeff Purvis was just past Todd. Jeff Purvis just passed Todd Bodine, pulled himself to 13th, put Todd back to 14th, and Shawna's ready to challenge him for that 14th position. Purvis having a good day as well. 114 laps now down this afternoon here in the All-Pro 300 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 171 17 laps down. And here's the story. Ken Schrader has moved back to second spot in the race with Dale Jarrett third, and Ernie Irvin finds himself back in fourth position with car number 10. And Harry Gant has now pulled himself up into the fifth position. Gant's on a roll. They made a few changes in that halftime break of 5 minutes, and the remedy seems to be an elixir that Hammer and Harry really likes. He has closed up on those guys, and he's ready to go for them. That's put Waltrip Darrell back to sixth, and Waltrip Michael back to seventh. Terry Labonte's in eighth. Kenny Wallace in ninth. Tommy Ellison at 10th position. Dale Jarrett, number 32.
Dale going for second place. He passes Schrader going into the third turn. Here comes Ernie trying to make the same move on Schrader. With the two of them in line up here, it could be tough, but Dale moves over, helps Ernie a little bit down. And guess what? The guy with the rear and back and forth under his car is going to try to pass them all.
He sure is. He's starting now.
Talk about your tough customers. Watch Gant and that number 7.
I was at the drivers meeting today, and they called roll, and they called car number 33, which was Ed Barriers, and Harry Gant yelled here. He kind of gets mixed up which race he's in sometimes.
There's the leader, and the advantage is overwhelming on 40, 50 car lengths now. Here's the rest of them, and as they get into lap traffic, Cecil Eunice getting lapped here, 19. Got one car spinning all the way around and back onto pit road, and no caution out for Bobby Labonte. Budweiser camera down onto pit road with a Penrose car, and no caution out.
Ken, we just had Bobby's brother Terry took his car, the 95 car, right behind the wall. You can see it there going into the garage area, so they've had some type of problem.
Had been running in 7th spot, followed back to 11th. He'd been as high as 7th.
There's Gant around Schrader, moving up through the pack now.
So Gant's in 4th. Harry Gant in 4th position. There's that spin. That's just the aerodynamics aren't working, and Bobby's got too much of a handle.
Ken, I'll tell you, he doesn't have anything going for him on the back of that race car. The rear section of these cars is what holds the rear wheels down aerodynamically, and he doesn't have anything to work with back there.
Sure like to know how they feel about car number 7 right now. They've got to be feeling a lot more confident than they did before that halftime break, as number 7 Gant has only Ward Burton, Dale Jarrett 2nd, and Ernie Irvin 3rd in front of him.
You know, even though it looked like Bobby was going around the racetrack really slow to us, Neil, his speeds were up there a lot faster than when we drive on a highway.
What happens, he knows how critical the point situation is, and he runs a little faster, He said, well, I believe I can go a little bit more, He just found out where the gauge was at. That's a little bit too much.
He came to his limit.
You see Gant maintaining 4th, 123 of 200 laps complete. Gant going for 3 in a row.
Boy, there's Ward Burton just driving away. You know, he said on the break that he was going to run the car as hard as it would each lap. But you've got that big a lead, I'm not so sure they're not pulling the throttle back on it a little bit. He's just driving away.
6th, 7th, and 8th, 30, 17, 36, back straightaway. Michael Waltrip, Darrell Waltrip, Kenny Wallace. Saw them lapping Steve Grissom. He was in one of those early incidents. If you're just getting with us, it has been a shocker as Ward Burton has just dominated. But for the moment, here is Darrell Waltrip fighting with brother Michael, and Darrell has the advantage. It's Darrell Waltrip into 6th, Michael back to 7th, Kenny Wallace watching and building on a big point lead. Oh, we've got a car out of control. It's Shauna Robinson, number 49, crashing into the wall. Car catching on fire as it slides down into the grass, almost into the pace car down there. That car broke away right here on the line and took a wild ride.
Again, she drove up under a car, and it really loosened the car up right through the triangle right here. And the back end came around on it, and the car bounced back the outside wall.
That's where the aerodynamics do work on this racetrack. It takes the air off that spoiler and makes those cars loose.
Shauna Robinson had been running in 14th position, putting on a wonderful display as she moved up through the field. And then we can look and replay at what has just happened at lap 124.
This is after she had already lost the car. She drove up under the car that was leading that pack there and almost cleared the car, and the back end came around. She tried to correct the car a little bit. It got into the outside wall, burst into flames here. Luckily enough, this car missed it. But watch the pace car set behind the 76 sign. She slides across there. Elmo Langley's in this car. He's fixing to crank it up, try reverse, and see if he can get out of the way. He backs the pace car up. She bounces off the wall and almost got Elmo back in driving business.
Under caution. 8th time today, Shauna Robinson crashing hard down the main straightaway at over 170 miles per hour. More from Charlotte shortly. Pit road remains closed here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Working lap 127, and they're cutting off the roof. We've got the jaws of life out there. Shauna Robinson, who crashed, is being taken from that car. She is still in the machine at this moment.
Ken, don't let that concern everybody so much about them cutting the roof off. Charlotte is one of the safest places now, since a lot of accidents happened in the past. Those safety vehicles have some of the most modern equipment and some of the best doctors in the sport, and they will waste a race car to just take any more chance they can with the driver. So a lot of times here they're going to tear up a race car when there's not a need to, but that's the best way to do it.
And nobody knows better than you.
Yeah, I've been at the top of a few of them, but since some of those things happen, Ken, they really put a lot of emphasis on getting taking care of these drivers.
Let's go to Randy Pembert and get an update on the Harry Gant car.
Well, I talked to Chris Currier, the crew chief, and they said that if the 27 car comes in, then they will come in. But evidently they're playing their strategy out. They're going to do what the leader does. And also about that problem they had with the rear end bushing, they did not get to change that at halftime. Evidently it's still like it was, but Harry Gant is sure driving the heck out of that race car.
After you drive a car like that and you learn the characteristics of it, kicking the rear out, going in the corner, standing throttle, going to the right, Harry is probably capable of compensating for that. He knows when he lifts the throttle, he's got to turn the wheel of the right a little bit. He knows when he stands in the gas, he's got to turn it left. It gets his timing down, and then he can almost drive the car as good as it was before. He's having to work a lot harder to run the same speeds.
Still see them working to get Shauna Robinson out of that car, which crashed just before the start-finish line. Got out of control there. And Neil, as you saw it, it was a second car when it got started. Then she was away on her own into the wall.
Just before this happened, she was making a lot of gains coming up through there, and she was passing the car. Here they are. Looks like they're in a position now to get her out of the car.
She's out of the car, Neil. She's standing on her own. They do have a neck brace on her, but that is Shauna standing there in the yellow uniform behind that fireman. She's the daughter-in-law of David Pearson. She's married to David's son, Eddie.
And she's been a very strong racer in the Dash Series over the last couple of years.
Okay, she's driven a little bit of everything. She actually drove the big rig trucks on the half-mile race.
That's how she started.
And I mean, was very successful with them. And anything she's ever driven, she's had a lot of success with it. Was making a lot of gains today too.
So they have her down on the stretcher. Let's go down to Dick Bergman.
Well, they've just taken her out of the car. They're taking all the time they can with her. You're right. They do have excellent medical facilities here, taking Shauna Robinson out of the car, making sure that there's no further damage. She is moving around on the stretcher, and we all hope that she's going to be all right.
One thing Shauna did tell me yesterday when I was talking to her, she wasn't feeling very well. She had the flu. So I'm hoping that she got a little bit better today.
She sure took a lick, and took a couple of them. One on the outside wall, and the second when she collected that wall. She'd gone 800 feet, and she still took a hard hit. There's where it had begun. Here comes the outside wall, and now it's 800 to 1,000 feet to the second contact on the nose of the car, and it's a shot.
Ken, the worst thing that can happen in racing is right there, that fire that comes out. And luckily enough, with this car spinning these 160s, 180 degrees around and around stuff, it's going to try to wipe the blaze off of the car. Thank goodness that when it hit that last time, it almost put the fire out. They're loading her in the ambulance now. Hopefully she's okay.
Shauna Robinson, who had a great run today, she had moved up through the field to the 14th position when this incident took place at lap 124. That has put us into another caution period. Pit road is some activity down there now. Here's Harry Gant coming out. We've had 8 cautions thus far, and we're going to set a record for the slowest 300 in history. About 104 mile an hour average, and the old mark was about 116.
Bill Elliott with his car. Here's Labonte's car going back out. They continue to work on it, trying to get a little bit better. On this round of pit stops, Ward Burton didn't pit. Gant, Schrader, Waltrip, and a bunch of the guys did. They need some help. You know, they needed the new tires. Maybe the 27 car doesn't need that, but the other guys didn't have much choice. So they're going to have. They got to find some advantage to try to even the score with.
Hey, folks, what's going on here? Here we are, going 104 mile an hour average with these guys who've had so many great races this year. The slowest race prior to this for the 300 was 1976. Old Mr. Modified, Ray Hendrick, at 116 miles an hour. The top speed here has been 141 mile an hour average, but it seems like it's catching.
You'll just have to give me time to think about this, Ken. I'll think about it during this commercial. We got one coming here, and we'll just see what happened. We'll see if we can figure out what's going on with this race.
.132, 200 laps complete. Ward Burton continues to lead. And with an update, here's Mike Joy at the Stanley Pit Communications Center.
Ken, tomorrow, the Mellow Yellow 500 for the Winston Cup cars, a new track record in qualifying. Let's have a look at that record run. Mark Martin broke the deadlock with Alan Kulwicki for most poles this season as he notched his 4th. His 17th career pole position and the 9th time that it'll be an all Ford front row this season. Martin ran 176.499 miles per hour to topple Alan Kulwicki's 3-year-old qualifying record for this race. Martin said, "We were going to go fast unless I wrecked." For the 3rd time in 4 weeks, Davey Allison got bounced from the pole early in qualifying to the outside pole. Here's how they'll start: 3 Fords in front of Irvin and Schrader. The circuit's last 2 winners, Earnhardt will start out back in 15th, and Harry Gant was Mr. September, but this is 1 month later. He'll square off from 17th starting position tomorrow.
And Ernie Irvin, after he made that run, banged up that race car.
They went out in a big group, and going down in the 3rd turn, he was actually leading the pack of cars, and the back end broke loose, and boy, he bounced it off the wall, and he had to pull out the backup car out of the truck.
Which means that'll put it in the back of the pack when they come out here. Qualified 4th, but he'll still have to come out of the rear if he had to switch cars. The number 93, Mike Wallace, is back on the track. We're getting ready to go. It seems to us that 27, Ward Burton, did not take a pit stop opportunity here. Strange?
Ken, he was the only guy that on the track that did not pit. If we stopped at the halfway mark, there's no way he can go the rest of the way. But I guess he thought the car was so strong he didn't need the tires. Everyone else has new tires.
This is probably Phil Parsons' best chance to get that lap back. He's been trying all day because he does have fresh tires on. So hopefully he can get by Ward Burton. 2nd place is Kenny Wallace, and he's going for the lead.
We might be seeing the advantage of the new tires over the old. Here comes Ward right back on the outside, but does it stick in the middle of the corner? Kenny's car really wiggled around, got loose. Here comes Dale Jarrett right to the bottom. These fresh tires make you feel awful frisky when you start them.
I can't believe how that car sticks. I mean, he's run all this distance on those tires. It just keeps driving away. Can you tell us more, Randy Pemberton?
I got Rick Wren here, the crew chief. Rick, you decided not to pit. Everyone else pit, put on right side tires. What's your strategy?
Well, we just thought we'd go to about lap 150 and get the caution rod in there, can of gas and fresh tires, and just have a shootout from there.
Are you going to be able to lose some ground here because of, you don't have fresh rubber on the right side?
We might lose a couple of spots. I don't know. We're pretty quick. It's going to be close to 32 cars running awful good.
What they're hoping for is that it'll even itself out over the course of a few laps. Of course, that the tires eventually even up on these race cars.
On the Busch Grand National Circuit, he's looking for his 1st ever victory, 3rd at Dover. His personal best. He's at a pole, but he's never had a win. So he's trying to stare down all the way to victory lane.
Well, here he is now being cut down to just 2 or 3 car lengths by Dale Jarrett. Ward Burton in front. There are just 4 Busch Grand National events, including today, to the end of the season. Is there a feeling of desperation in making that first win in your career yet, Ward?
What a pack of cars right here coming off the corner.
Yeah, that's Tommy Ellis. You know, Todd Bodine up there. He's the one that had his car all rearranged, and he's running good out here.
We'll get back to that Ward Burton answer in a moment. Here he is, still slugging it out up in front. Dale Jarrett in that 2nd spot. In the 3rd spot is Kenny Wallace. And And up to fourth comes Jimmy Hensley.
And there's Dale Jarrett with those fresh tires. Really, but this is the most heat we've seen Ward Burton have to take from anybody. What he's got to do is try to stay there. Each lap, Dale should go away a little bit. The hotter the tires get, it'll equalize it. But while they're cool, Dale's going to be able to make a run at him.
They seem to be able to go for, like I say, a few laps, then they level off for several laps, and then they start to drop off again. They should be up pretty quick here.
Take a look at this one. Kenny Wallace is into third, and here is Jimmy Hensley in fourth, and what a run Hensley has made. Jimmy started the day back in 25th, and he's worked his way along. Hensley, who is in the point standings third at the present time, trying to get a good finish, running just in front of Harry Gant, back in that fifth spot. Behind him is Ernie Irvin, the 10 car, running in sixth. And then comes Bodine fighting with Walton. Great slugfest here. Hensley on the outside, Gant on the inside. 4-4.
Well, I tell you, when you have a car with the problem Gant has right now with a back end, rear end moving around another car, he's trying to outguess where it's going next. And he's pretty well got that thing figured out now.
And he's out muscling everybody, too.
Which he has an abundance of.
He's sure putting on a show here today at Charlotte, North Carolina, in the $380,000 All-Pro 300. Back to the line. Here's Gant closing down, moving in to challenge Kenny Wallace for third.
That's Dale Jarrett falling to the inside of the racetrack. He was in second place. He's pulled over to the inside. He's got big problems with that car. He's going down the back straightaway on the inside now. The leaders are pulling away from him. Here he is. He just dropped him off fourth turn. He pulled inside and fell off the pace. Seems like the car is still running. He might have lost a cylinder.
16 cars were running in the lead lap. This will bring it down to 15 as Dale Jarrett, who had started 10th, pulls onto pit road. Here's Dick Berggren.
And his problem is a tire. Apparently the right rear has just been cut down. Jarrett was almost assured of a second. It seemed it might have even run Ward Burton down, but not going at it this way. Here, time is all important. Will they get back out again before Burton goes by and they lose a lap? They're going to change the right side tires, a little bit of fuel in, Jack get ready to go down. Not quite ready, not the best pit stop in the world. And there he goes, and there goes Burton and Jarrett's a lap down.
Boy, again, that speed limit on pit road, it almost virtually puts you a lap down. You got to come in slow, go out slow. Even a good pit stop, you're almost going to lose a lap down.
Do you think they should be allowed under green to come in at regular speed and then under caution you get that massive group of cars on pit road, hold them down?
Again, it's kind of like running the interstate highway. You come off the interstate, you don't realize how fast you're going. As long as they police pit road all day, green or yellow, they can control it. I don't think they'll let it go back to high-speed pit road.
Let's get back to Ward Burton. There are just 4 Busch Grand National races remaining. He's still looking for that first win. Is there a feeling of desperation?
Well, I've been desperate ever since the first Busch race I ever ran, but, you know, you can only do what your car lets you do, and the remainder of these 4 races, it's going to be tough, and we got a good shot at it here. We've finished 7th and 9th the last 2 races here at Charlotte, and I love this racetrack, and we'd have won some races a few times. I messed up a few times, accelerator stuck or something like that. But if I can stay right where I'm at, that Gwaltney Big 8 Buick will be running up front next to me.
There's Ward Burton trying to win again for Buick out here. They only have 4 wins this season as you look at that interval, whereas Olds has 10 and Pontiac 8. Tying with Chevy at 5 if he comes through. We're seeing Dale Jarrett's car back on pit road, that number 32 in trouble.
Here there are the leaders coming off the corner here. Ernie Irvin putting a little bit of heat on Kenny Wallace right now.
And right behind him, Harry Gant.
You know, Kenny Wallace needs to get used to this because he's moving up to the Winston Cup next year, and these are the guys he's going to be racing with.
Here's Jarrett on pit road another time. So with Jarrett in a second time, brings that number down. Cars running lap to 15. So putting 2 laps down. Battle for second place has Ernie Irvin in the 10 car, fighting with Harry Gant in the number 7 car. That is for 3rd spot. There you see Kenny Wallace still very much in this thing and getting a big jump up in the points. And the reason for the big jump up is 42 cars started today.
when you come to a place like Charlotte, it's a big blessing to win here because there's a lot of money on the line. But the problem when you're in a points battle, most races start 30 cars, 28 to 30. This place starts 42. A bad day here can kill you in the points.
Now this field moves on to New Hampshire next week. I believe the field is 38 up there.
We'll probably start 36 cars, 4 provisionals, 2 north, 2 south.
NASCAR North team will get a chance in that, so that will bring it up to a 40-car field. Trouble in turn number 4. We've got another car loose. It looks like Bound. That is Jim Bound and Michael Waltrip's car handles down pit road. Car spinning up here. I think it was the 16 car.
That's my brother-in-law, Jim Bound, and he spun it, kind of did a Danny Sullivan like at Indy, spun it and kept it going the right way, and no yellow came out.
That's hard to believe, no yellow on that, because Mike Waltrip, a couple of them went down pit road to avoid it.
Take a look.
Here he is. He loses the car, comes around. Here comes, who's this coming in, the 29 car here?
Phil
That's
Parsons.
Phil Parsons. Phil Parsons, well, he's been in the middle of it all day long. Car sitting sideways in front of him. See if he's going to make contact. There's not much place he can go right there. Looks like he cleared it. If anything, just barely tapped him and turned way to the left. And these 2 cars you see coming on the inside shot, 2 of them went down pit road full speed. There's Mike Waltrip going down pit road, and I promise you they wasn't running 50 miles an hour. Whoa. Here's another shot of it. Just barely clears him. The 6 car of Tommy Houston, Mike Waltrip go down pit road full throttle.
You know, in that situation with Phil Parsons, you know, a lot of times people will say their spotter told them where to go. Nobody knows better than the driver what that car in front of them is going to do. That driver decided where to go. I don't care who told them anything different.
It was a good move. Whenever all 3 of those cars avoided that accident.
Change in position out here. Ernie Irvin's number 10 falls back once again. Harry Gant, second place. Car number 7, Gant into second. Ernie Irvin goes to third. There are 151 of 200 laps complete. Ward Burton, trying to win for Buick another time, stays out in front. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, obviously, this was more than just a tire, Darrell Jarrett. Here you are in the garage area out of the car. What's wrong?
The track compartment broke on the right rear over there. Have no idea why. It's not too good a maintenance job or something on our part, but things like that shouldn't happen. The car, we'd just gotten it right, and I was in good shape there, and thought that I was going to be able to still run with the 27. Knowing he had to stop again, we were ready to go the rest of the way.
You had a good look at that 27. Can anybody lick him, or is this his?
He's pretty strong if something doesn't happen, but you know he didn't stop there. He's going to have to stop, and the rest of the field did. So it'll be a matter of luck on his side, and he gets the caution.
While we're talking of luck, you talk about bad luck. There with Mike Waltrip behind the pits, and there goes Ernie Irvin. In one lap, the guys running second and third fall out of the race. We had 2 cars go out at the very same time, right in contention.
Ernie Irvin had just fallen back to 11th after that battle up in front, and now he's retired, and Michael just in front of him.
Well, Ken, the complexion of this race may be changing a little. Jack Ingram's had the watch here on the interval from Ward Burton on back. And what's it telling you, Jeff?
Well, Harry's a closing distance on Ward. He's obviously on tires that's worn out more than Harry's. And even if they have a caution and he gets to change tires, he'll still be 2 tires behind Harry and the rest of them guys. So Ward's going to have a tough time winning this race either way.
But boy, the handling on that 27 car has been impressive.
Oh, that's almost unbelievable. I've been sitting here watching some of them guys in the corner, especially on the restart, and him didn't have fresh tires, but it's going to be a lucky stroke if he wins this race.
I tell you what, we just talked to the guys here. They said they were hoping for a caution at about 150 mark. If they don't get it, they're going to be in trouble. We're 150 now. They're going to have something happen in a hurry.
There's that interval back to that second place car. Gant from Ward Burton still looking for that first Grand National win. Harry Gant, of course, has tasted success on this track and so many others, going for his 3rd in a row. There's Ward in the 27 back straightaway. Cautions came seemed like 5 laps at the beginning of this race. But now, right when Ward Burton wants one, it's clear. There was that opportunity with that spin by Jim Bound, but no caution came out.
And we've got Dick Berggren down with Mike Waltrip to see what happened to his car.
Well, Michael, you and Ernie Irvin dropped out at the same time. What was your problem?
He broke something inside the engine. It seemed like it was going to break something, I'll put it that way, and we just shut it off because we didn't want to take a chance on messing up the track. The Pennzoil Pontiac was just a little off today. It was competitive, but it wasn't fast, and we battled that all day long, and had gotten ourselves in a position to finish in the top 5 probably, but it all went away there late in the race. So we'll just have to take this with a grain of salt, get a good night's sleep, and do battle tomorrow.
It's a very, very tough racetrack on engines for sure. Power's a big variable here.
156 laps, 234 miles complete as Michael Waltrip says goodbye to this All-Pro 300. Ward Burton stays out in front, desperately wanting a caution. Harry Gant in second place. Goes down on the leader, but Buick is running first and second. Story there, we'll tell you about it when we. These aerial views of the All-Pro Auto Parts 300 brought to you courtesy of Pennzoil Motor Oil. Up over the 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Ward Burton leads with 160 laps complete, 40 to go. Harry Gant is in second position as you watch Ward coming out of the 4th turn and down the main straightaway here at the beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway. 3rd spot, Jimmy Hensley, rather unsung today, has pulled himself up through the field. Let's find out the story on Ernie Irvan right now. Go down to the pits.
Well, it's another blown engine, Ken, but I'm just wondering how two could blow one right after another, you and Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, I don't know. Michael was behind me, so I didn't even know he done it until I come pulling in. But you know, it's Mac Tool Chevrolet was running good. All my guys in my Busch shops worked hard and put this car back together after Richmond, and you know, came here and ran flawlessly all day. And you know, Carl Wagner gave me an excellent motor. Just broke a piston, dropped the valve. Just a failure inside the motor. Nothing anybody could do.
Boy, this is one full garage area with wrecks and blown engines.
There's the story on Ernie Irvan, now out of the event. Gave it a good shot. Here's Harry Gant in second, searching for the leader, Ward Burton. And look at the interval between Harry Gant and that 3rd place competitor, Jimmy Hensley, in the 25. Hensley has had an excellent run from 25th position with his Oldsmobile to currently be in that 3rd position. Right behind Hensley by about 60 car lengths is Kenny Wallace in the 36. There you see Wallace going down into turn number 1. Gives you an idea of just how far apart they are around this track, Debbie Bound. Got some real separation out there for the moment.
They are separating a little bit. They need to get bunched back up. You know, Ken, when we were talking about Ernie and Michael blowing the motors, the radials are causing the cars to have more, you know, they're gripping better in the corners, so they're turning the RPMs in that engine more, and they worried a little bit about having engine problems, and I think we're seeing that here today.
The other story we were mentioning a moment ago was Buick running first and second. And Neil, as you know, Buick's days are really closing down out here in Grand National Racing, and they really want to get themselves some wins. These teams that have carried Buick sheet metal, had Buick equipment out here, trying really hard to get some wins back in the book before this season ends, and GM really drops Buick out of racing.
And, you know, they've been a stronghold in Winston Cup racing and in IndyCar, which I think they're going to stay involved in IndyCar. But this thing has been the backbone of the Busch series, the Buick motor. These guys would certainly like to see some involvement from Buick in this series. We were concerned, Ken, about the 27 car when he would pit. We sent our guys down there, and they won't tell us. They want everybody to guess. They're going to have to come in, and we're going to gamble on a caution. It looks like they might draw up a bad hand because it's getting close from time to pit, and they're not going to tell anybody until they have to do it.
165 laps complete, 247 miles are down. Now, since the halfway break in this race, they've got to be running a little light on the tank here, Neil. And are they as calculating as the Winston Cup people when it comes to this?
Well, they're just going to have to gamble. They're turning the motors more. It's going to be close if they can. They're going to have to be getting in there with safety. When you run that good, you can't stretch it too far.
Well, Neil, I got an expert sitting right alongside of me can tell you how long they can run. Jack Ingram?
They can run a maximum of about 85 laps, but I'm not even sure that Ward can do that because he's been leading the race and running wide open. If he was running behind someone, you could possibly go 85 laps, but I don't think he can even go that far.
Well, now hindsight's 20/20, but would you have stopped under the caution when everybody else came in?
Oh yes, absolutely, because he had a fast car, and there was no reason. He come from way back in the field early in the race and took the lead away from all the best, so there was no reason why he should have done that.
So Ward Burton continues to run toward that pit stop. Well, we've got Jack here. I want to congratulate you, Governor Jim Martin proclaimed today Jack Ingram Day in the state of North Carolina. That's quite a great honor in honor of your many years of stock car racing achievement.
Well, it certainly is. That's why I certainly want to thank the governor for doing that, and not only that, everybody that supported me and the fans throughout my whole racing career.
And we're happy to have you spend your last day behind the wheel with us.
Thank you very much.
Saw the medical hospital helicopter just leaving here. That was with Shauna Robinson. She is conscious, but they're taking her over to Cabarrus Hospital just to make sure everything's all right. But that's the evacuation of Shauna Robinson, who we saw crash in the last caution period. Is conscious, is talking. Things look good, but they just want to be sure.
I think they're concerned about whenever they see a helicopter leave, but that's just standard procedure, Charlotte. They're going to give you the best safety care possible.
Watching as Ward Burton zeroes in, getting ever closer to that first win. Hey, what a day this would be. They've had 27 races, 15 different winners in Grand National Racing. The record is 18 back in '88. They could break that record with what's coming up here. New Hampshire next week, finishing up at Martinsville, Rockingham. Pretty good chance that record might break. And Ward Burton is certainly one that can add to that if he can bring that Buick home.
Well, consider this as we wonder about Ward Burton's crew's strategy. Everybody in racing says you need to be together a long time to make good strategy decisions. This crew is gone the third crew chief. The guy who's crewing it today is number 3. Burton is the second driver this year. So 3 crew chiefs, 2 drivers in 1 year. These guys have hardly worked together at all.
They're really working pretty well right now, that's for sure. We're just being told that that helicopter is a second flight. That was a fan that fell off a motorhome in the infield. Shauna's already on her way. That's a busy helicopter outfit today.
Well, I hope the fan's not hurt either, but I'm certainly glad to hear Shauna's okay.
Spinning around out there, watching Ward Burton stepped off his mobile home in the infield, evacuating him.
Everybody said racing was dangerous. I guess watching him is too.
Here's Ward Burton at lap 71. Hey, the time is now. How much longer can this guy run out here?
Well, they said maximum 85, you know, and we stopped at the halfway mark. He's got about 10 laps here to show us something. And I wouldn't think they would stretch. If they run that car out of fuel, they're going to have problems.
If Ward Burton wins this race today, he'll only be the 3rd Busch Grand National driver to win it. The late Rob Moroso won this race 3 times, and Sam Ard won this race 1 time. Sam Ard's now retired, so Ward Burton would be only the 3rd Busch driver to do it.
And it was Sammy Ard who won the fastest race at 141 miles an hour. Now you see the number 12. That's Ellis. That is 6th spot. And Todd Bodine in that Buick. That's the car that got slapped in the wall out here the other day, and they put it all back together. What a run Todd Bodine. Ellis in the 12, the blue car, and Todd Bodine right with him.
I tell you, Todd Bodine had a lot on the line. All the people that you sponsored that's on the car right there were in town. They were at the Speedway Club last night. They were talking about how they liked racing, and they had to really do a lot of work to get that car back out here. He's going to salvage a good finish from it.
And Kenny Wallace is running just in front of them. There's Todd Bodine's 34 in the tail end of that threesome. But Kenny Wallace in the 36 in 5th is about to be challenged by Tommy Ellis. Former Grand National champion Ellis in that 12 car. This is one of his best runs this year.
Tommy Ellis hasn't been running on a regular basis with us this year, and he had to come up in the qualifying race just to get into this race, and he's made a tremendous run to the front. He's got a bunch of sponsored people out here today, wings to go, and he's hoping to go all the way with them next year to a championship.
Moving down on Kenny Wallace another time. Wallace draws away. Wallace picks up 10 car lengths in the last lap as he holds on to 5th place. And Ward Burton tries to win his first Grand National race. 178 laps, 267 miles are down in the All-Pro 300 as Ward Burton in number 27 has rolled the dice looking for a caution late in the race. And at this moment, he's not getting it, and he's got to be running on fumes very shortly. He's got another 3 or 4 laps, and they've got to take that gamble and duck on pit road.
Ken, if we're working off the numbers Jack Ingram told us earlier, we're talking about 5 laps, and he's got to come in the pits. Perry Gann is sitting there battling in a race car that's got a handful for him, and it's going to fall back in his lap.
And you can see that interval from first to second spot back to Gant. Now let's trail you back up to third spot with Jimmy Hensley, and it's a big distance. Back to Jimmy Hensley's number 25. That continues in third. Hensley could really make a move in the points today as he came in here in third position.
We've really got to give it to Jimmy Hensley. You know, his crew has worked really hard all year, kept him in third spot, unsponsored car.
Great job. Here's the number 15, Ken Schrader, that is maintaining fourth. And that's how they are positioned around this mile-and-a-half track as we get 180 laps into the book and 20 laps remaining.
Ken, we just got word on the scanner. They said that they had 12 laps of fuel left on the 27 car. That puts it at lap 192. So there's no way he can make it, and he's got a short window for a caution.
Take a look at how this race has gone. Just joined us, Ward Burton early on, looking for that first win. Harry Gant, after starting way back in 33rd, picked it up, came all the way up into the 11th position, then under caution assumed the lead. Schrader has had the lead some. Michael Waltrip, who just retired, picked it up for a lap in a caution period. Ernie Irvin came through. He moved in front as he got by Michael Waltrip out here on the racetrack. Ward Burton at lap number 72 took over and hold the phone. He's still there with that Buick.
Again, I just watched Ward Burton come off the fourth turn, and the rear end came completely out from under the car. You know, you're talking about 250 pounds of fuel in one of these cars. He's down to probably 10 pounds of fuel. His car is also getting loose.
We'll be back with more from Charlotte Motor Speedway and the All-Pro 300 and the gamble of Ward Burton following these messages. We're back with you. How close can you get and not get what you need? Here's the rookie, Jeff Purvis, in the Freddie Fryer prepared car. Up in turn 4. He's loose. He's out of control. He spins, but gets it all the way down on the grass.
You can bet the 27 crew right now is hollering caution, caution, 1-1. But all day long, we've seen no caution flags when the cars get off the track like this. Jeff gets the car turned around and gets straight in and gets to moving, and no caution. The 27 is still in the same pickle.
186 laps are complete. 14 to go, and he can't go by the 92 mark, they say. Lap 192 without running out of fuel. When is he going to gamble and come in? Gant sits there well back, but at 50 miles an hour, in and out, Ward Burton's hopes of winning his first Grand National victory are diminished unless there is that caution. 3 in a row for Harry Gant. Unbelievable as he starts off October just as he ran September.
Yeah, and he's also battling his own race car that's not doing exactly what he wants to do, and he's just hustling around. There's the crew in the pits, and I'm sure they're second guessing themselves on their call right now.
And they are saying now that they're going to run until he runs out. They're going to just keep him out there and keep him going.
Mike Wallace just bounced it off the fourth turn wall. He's getting a lot of chances at it, but it hasn't happened. Mike Waltrip just hit the wall.
Let's go to Randy Pemberton on pit road.
Well, this team all of a sudden stood up frantically and started running around. Yes, indeed, Ward Burton has indeed run out of fuel. They're waiting for him to come in now. I don't have a sight on him on pit road now, but he is definitely radioed in. He's moving the car back and forth. He is out of fuel.
And he is on the bottom of turn number 3. It turned into a kamikaze run. It was a suicide run. They just decided to leave him out there. Harry Gant is now going for his 3rd in a row. Ken Schrader is taken over in 2nd, and Jimmy Hensley's having a great day in 3rd. Here's your new leader, Harry Gant, who started the day in 33rd, had to win the consolation to get in this race. Now out in front with 12 to go, and on pit road comes car number 27.
That's got to be heartbreaking for him. You know, my goodness, to run like he did, you almost have to work to lose one.
And it's hard to get them refired like this after they run out of gas.
He could probably care less than recrank. They've lost it.
They're probably spraying ether right now in there on the carburetor now.
Yeah, they spray it in the air intake. The boy on the front by the hood is shooting some ether in there. But when you run it as bone dry as they did, you got to fill up about 12 foot of fuel line, the fuel filters, everything, and it takes a lot of fuel to make it back off.
Lap down. And then some. Ward Burton. That leaves 8 cars cars in the lead lap. Gant leading, Schrader second, Hensley third, Todd Bodine in fourth, Tommy Ellis is in fifth, Tom Peck having a great day in sixth, Waltrip in seventh, that's Darrell, and Kenny Wallace is in eighth. Now, the other major story of the day is the 44 car that stays out here. It's being shown in 19th position, so Kenny gets a real shot at the points, and we've got a car spinning coming out of turn number 4. It's going almost into the grass both ways. No caution is out. Holy smokes, the 34 almost collected another machine and kept right on going. Car number 34 coming off the banking of turn number 4. It got loose and just couldn't get it back under control. And finally, Todd Bodine was able to pick it up. The 4th place car in trouble, and 27. We watch him on pit road. Now they've got it fired.
Boy, I tell you, that's to have the fastest car, no doubt. I mean, undoubtedly the fastest car on the racetrack, and then have that happen. And you miss it about 12 laps, not with just a few laps to go, but a lot. That's got to be tough.
What does that driver feel like, Neil, when he's sitting in the car and maybe somebody in the pits is calling the shots? You know, he's probably it's probably really pretty tough on him right now.
Take a look. Here's Tommy Ellis right up on the back of Todd Bodine up here in 4. Good night, nurse.
Gets him turned around, and boy, I tell you, the car went down off the track and then went back up right in the middle of the racetrack. We see him right here, headed down to the inside.
Here's the scary part.
And it goes down the inside, but then trying to correct the car backs up in the middle of the racetrack. And I think a car came by while he was in this position. Just barely missed him came around, finally made the move to the outside. And only thing I can figure, the yellow flag is stuck in the flag stand today. They haven't been using it very much.
The 99 car. Now here's the other Burton car coming on pit road. Probably brand new.
Oh, I tell you.
I wonder if he ran out of gas too.
Well, my contention has always been, if it's even questionable, put it out.
Well, Jack Ingram called that stop. He said they could run 85 laps max. They ran 86 green flag laps and had to come in. Jack, I might send those 27 boys your phone number.
Well, that's kind of inexperience on the driver's part as far as that's concerned, and most probably the crew too. They had a very fast car. They had to race one. All they had to do was come in the pits under the caution and go out and win the race.
And you called it early. There's your man up front, Harry Gant, from the back to the front.
3 laps to go. The old Iron Man. He just calls him. Doesn't have to do anything else. Harry Gant is out in front. A couple of Iron Men. That's the kind of people that drive for those teams.
I'll tell you one thing we haven't said very much about. With that bushing knocked out of that number 7 car, when that bushing falls out, there's a bolt in there. It's about a 7/8 diameter bolt. And every time he backs out of the gas, it hits that thing a lick when he stands in it. The thing, I didn't want to mention it earlier. I was afraid he could snatch that bolt out of the trailing arm. But it looks at Harry's probably rolling in out of the throttle. He can feel that big jolt. So he's nursed that thing along. But it's a heck of a note when you can nurse him in and win races.
Well, he nursed it home to 2nd place with no brakes last week. Wilkesboro. He's amazing. Just getting better at nearly 52 years of age. Back to the line and ready to lap Kenny Wallace. There he is moving in on the 7th place car. Kenny Wallace going a lap down. Relationship from 1st to 2nd. It's Gant in 1st. Now it's Schrader running in 2nd place. And there's the interval down the back straightaway up onto the 24-degree banking. And this one is Harry Gant's to do. Here comes Schrader in the 15 running in 2nd. And Jimmy Hensley is in 3rd spot. Here comes the Schrader number 15. A lot of room between that 1st place car and the 2nd place car. It's all Gant. He has almost a half a lap at this point over 2nd place. Remarkable return for Harry Gant into this event after having to run the consolation to make the show. He's been pretty quiet all week. He hasn't wanted to mix it up. I think he got a little taste of what Bill Elliott went through when he was on that big run. White flag is out on Harry Gant.
Yeah, and, you know, Gant's car wasn't even competitive. Then he had to run the qualifying race. And, you know, we never saw him at the first race. He just kept working away at it. And he said, "You're fixing to win this thing."
If anybody can do it, it's Harry Gant. He's probably one of the most patient drivers out here in Busch Grand National or Winston Cup.
Well, he sat on this one, eased it home, and then his fortune of having a car out in front with a team that wasn't experienced to Super Speedway Racing. And they just fell on their sword in those last laps. It was unfortunate for Ward Burton. Had they made one stop there, they'd have been home.
Ken, we just watched Harry Gant win this race, and he had Wilkesboro. Earnhardt would be the first one to tell you he had him beat last week. This would make it about 9 in a row, 8 or 9 in a row. So just to give him that last week,
he still is on a roll. I mean, second place with no breaks, as far as I'm concerned. He's still on a roll.
Well,
slowest record.
He's on the roll in Busch Grand National. This is a third in a row here.
Third in a row happens at Charlotte for Harry Gant at an average speed of 115 miles an hour. He's won the All-Pro 300, and you'll meet him. Over 73,000 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway have seen Harry Gant just win his third in a row. Victory at Dover, victory at Richmond, victory at Charlotte as he continues to knock them down. Picks up, they say, some $73,000 here this afternoon. He's in the victory lane circle of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And let's go for our Big A Auto Parts Winner's Circle interview with a champion here at Charlotte on this Saturday afternoon.
Boy, champion for sure. Harry Gant, what did you have to overcome with this car? Did you ever get it straightened out?
Well, we had a right rear tire to equalize, and I ran behind. I was leading, and I fell back, and I tried to ride it out, which is not a good idea to do, but I tried to stay behind anybody in case it blew out, and I let everybody go by the 4 cars before that halfway mark. And then after we finally come in, I told him it shook so long it knocked the bushing out of the trailing arm. And we let the rear end seesaw back and forth. When you go in a corner and let off, the rear end would run. As it'd run in, when you throttled it, it would run you out. It would start pushing, but the biggest thing was letting off. And the awfulest racket you ever heard in your life. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, about wore my hands out today, but the biggest thing down the straightaway had run me, like 6 inches sideways, and scuffing all my speed off the V6 engine. You can't take much power off. But
how do you go fast when you're going 6 inches sideways?
Well, I just hung in there. The car just handled good, and I thought it was going to wear my tires out. And the pit crew made a real smart decision to go ahead and pit, because in yesterday's run we found out we could run 75 laps. We only ran 40, but we felt like we could have went 75 and not lost much speed yesterday. So today we come in at 25, and we only had 75, so we was in good shape.
Your hand is not in good shape. Lots and lots of blisters. This guy has worked hard this afternoon.
With a crippled car, Harry. Nobody quite like Hammer and Harry at the end of this season.